The end of the Guardians is upon us. With the departure of James Gunn to DC and most of the actors who have blessed us with the roles for 8 years now, did they leave us on a high note, or is the closing chapter of the Guardian trilogy like the rest of the MCU right now? Let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 50 for the second week of May 2023. I'm your host, MWIII, and joining me, as always, once again, every time, all the time, my co-host, the Birdman himself, Logan B.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the XP Podcast. This episode is gonna be a little bit better than the last one because the last one we kind of had to cut out some of our stories because of a new show style that we were starting and everything. If you guys did enjoy it, I hope you guys enjoyed it. But if you want to check it out, we did a whole rank 'em. It's one of our new show ideas where we ranked all the Star Wars movies. Well, actually, all the live action Star Wars shows / movies. So, but yeah, this is a good week. Very exciting stuff this week. Like, very, very exciting stuff. We have a lot to do, so I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. Had a pretty good week today. I started going to the gym. Yeah, I know. Haha. Let's get a round of applause to that one. Me and Amy are gonna start going to the gym now, so that's exciting. I went today and it's pretty good. I went a little too hard on arm day, but I'm learning again. I haven't been to the gym since college, so but yeah, pretty good week. Been a very busy week, and yeah, pretty chill week. What about you, Mike?
Well, if you need a program or anything, I am technically a trained personal trainer, so I still have my
That's
license.
fair.
Yeah, so I can help you out with that. No, my week was jam-packed, actually, both personal and podcast related. If you noticed, I'm missing something over here. No longer have my TV or my stand. Got rid of it.
Oh yeah.
My dad took it with him. I literally never turned it on. It's my PlayStation's in the living room. I never mess with that at all. So there will be a replacement coming in. I'm thinking of ways to upgrade it. Not here when we're still in Memphis. Probably when we move to a new place at the probably around this time next year. I'll be getting ready to graduate. We'll be moving, getting the hell out of here. This place sucks. This place is not that great, but
That's fair.
I'm excited to move. So yeah, I might move my game shelf over here just so there's not a blank wall over here because it looks real ugly. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I got my car back finally. That was a interesting,
Nice.
fun thing. So yeah, I went up to my parents' place this weekend. Got to see the new baby, not my baby, my sister's baby. And went to pick up my car because my clutch blew out. Got there, got in it, clutch works fine. AC blew. I'm like, cool, awesome. So so I left the car. I left the car up there with my dad. He did his wizarding stuff. My dad's amazing with that kind of stuff, so props to that man. I'll never be that good. I beat him out with computers now. I know a lot more about computers and technology now than he does, but in terms of mechanic stuff, I'll never know any of that shit like he does. So anyway, got it fixed, dropped it off last night, spent the night last night, watched some movies, hung out, went to the dog park. That was good. So everything's good now. Adulthood is over. I can now play games. I've been playing games all week. So, but yeah, that's it. That was my week. You said a lot of stuff. Watched a couple movies. We'll talk about one. Played, jump back into some VR. We'll talk about some of that in a little bit. I just played a couple things. And then, yeah, beat a game. So, really exciting, really exciting. So, without further ado, let's get into it like we do every single show, all the time, every time. We start with the question of the week. And guys, if you listen to us out there, we really, really want you guys to get involved with the episodes each and every week. Through your comments, through your engagement. Let us know what kind of questions you want us to answer, because one, we like to talk to you guys. We want to engage you guys. We want to bring you guys into the episodes, and also I don't want to have to think of them every single week. So help us out down there. Let us know what kind of different questions or topics you guys want us to discuss. Maybe we'll even make it a point of a show if it's a good one. So comment down below. Let us know. Get involved down there. We can't wait and talk to you guys about what is the single greatest form of entertainment media in the world. Anyway, this week, the question of the week is written and published by the Birdman himself, Logan P. What do you got for us?
3 weeks in a row. um, so what, Mike, what is the most impressive Nintendo Switch game out as of
Switch
right now?
Switch Sports.
Switch Sports?
Yeah. No. So
Okay,
I
I was
actually
about to
did not
say.
like
I was like,
I did not like Switch Sports actually. Um
you liked it a little bit. You know, you gotta admit that. You
I
liked
liked
volleyball, which was really fun. You
Okay,
gotta admit
yes.
that.
But let's look at it
Yeah.
this way. Volleyball when it came out was one of what, 7 games?
hmm
I liked the 7th of the game.
I know.
Probably
That's
didn't
right.
like it that much then.
I like bowling and volleyball, but yeah, the rest is kind of.
I was just so let down by what they chose to do with like the engagement, like mostly just how you do unlocks. It's the dumbest
Yeah,
decision I've ever
I
seen.
hate how they did only online with the unlocks because the game sorely needs some kind of progression, and the only way to progress is online, which I think is, I agree with you, is really dumb. I
And
don't
honestly,
like how
like
they did that.
it just doesn't. I just don't want to play the game. Honestly, I just don't feel.
That's fair.
I just don't care to because I'm like, I don't want to have to wait through the loading screens. Like I remember I used to just bowl bowl a frame skip, just knock out like
Yeah,
10 games within like 30 minutes. Just go in, and now I gotta wait for everyone, wait for the game to load, and I just don't like it. But that's my problem. So not there. I guess it's technically theirs, but I don't think they care too much. They sold a lot of copies. So no, the most impressive game. I mean, it's Zelda. It's both of them. Like
that's fair.
I
I
think
guess that was
I think
too
in
easy.
terms
That was too easy of a question, but
honestly,
yeah,
I think in terms of impressive, I would probably go with Breath of the Wild. Now I haven't played Tears. That man's playing Tears, but it does at least from
spoiler.
yeah, at least from
Yeah,
like what I see, it does look very similar. There's not a whole lot of room. There's a bunch of different areas. I've seen
I will.
all the
I'll
stuff.
tell you one thing that is I do think Tears is definitely by far way more technically impressive than what Breath of the Wild is.
Fair
By
enough.
a not even just a short mile, like a football field. It's just there's nothing. Like I'm telling you, I guess we're getting into this real quick. I'm not gonna talk too much about it until we get to the rundown, but I think the most impressive thing is the fact that you can go from a sky island all the way down to the bottom. And I'm not going to say what the bottom is, but
Oh, I mean,
yes,
it's in a bunch
you
of
can go.
it's in a bunch of reviews out there. So
I know, but I'm going to try to keep it as, if people don't want to know about everything, I'm going to try to keep it as semi spoiler free as possible. Obviously, I'm not talking about any story or
you can go to
other
hell.
stuff like that. Yeah, because I hate that crap. I don't like spoiling stuff. But I do think Tears of the Kingdom is probably the most technically impressive Switch game out as of right now. I think
I think both of them are
another
probably. I don't think
yeah.
there's anything on the Switch that can come close to what both of these games were able
Yeah.
to accomplish on the hardware there. And that makes me just wonder what a Zelda game could be on PS5.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, it'd
What could
be
those guys do?
insane.
Because they have such a grasp of game development and just overall brilliance. What could they do with that horsepower? We'll never
It
know,
would
but
be
it'd be cool
yeah,
to know. All right, we're
but
getting way too much in. So both of our answers are
I
Zelda.
will throw in two more other call outs real quick. I also think I never played this game, but I have watched a lot about it, and that is Luigi's Mansion 3 is also an insanely visually and graphically impressive. Oh yeah, there's another game too I'm thinking about. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion is also like one of the most visually impressive Switch games out there. It's basically kind of how like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was for PS5. Luigi's Mansion 3 was kind of like a CG movie in quality. It did a really good
Cool.
job of like using its animations properly. It just looks graphically insanely impressive on there. Which I just wanted to give that a shout out. Obviously, we all know what the most technically impressive is. Zelda not only has the graphics, but also, well, not as good graphics as the Luigi Mansion, but it does have very good graphics in my opinion, and it has so much going on that it's kind of mind-boggling how a Switch with very old, barely. I don't even. It's. I mean, it's the Switch is even as strong as most phones right now. Where
Well, it's not.
literally,
It's not even
I
close.
know. That's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, it's insane that like Zelda runs on there, especially Tears of the Kingdom. I do not understand how that game runs on there. I just don't get it. There's so much in it,
By the
and
way,
I just don't get how they do it. It's
I went
black magic.
I went to go look at my Switch games, seeing if there was anything that I
I have
remember that's
another one I
better.
want to shout out.
What's that?
The new Metroid Prime remaster. Again, I haven't played it. I want to play it. Also, easily one of the most visually impressive Switch games on there. Easily. I don't know if you missed it earlier, but I said Luigi's Mansion 3. That's also an
I heard you.
insanely good. Yeah. Those are in like I think those are graphically better than what Zelda is, but I think technically and like what is all inside of Zelda and how many systems are working at one time,
Trying to be
I think
inside of Zelda,
obviously
huh?
Zelda. What?
Trying to be inside of Zelda, huh?
Yeah, I
Hey,
guess. Yeah,
I'm there with you, man. I wouldn't
yeah.
Mind.
That's
I
well,
think
I don't know
Nintendo
what her
would
age
mind,
is,
but
so I will not say that. But
I don't post this for
uh,
kids. It's fine. Only,
that's fair.
only
That's
adults can see this. If you got a YouTube
okay.
Kids YouTube out there, sorry, you can't reach us.
Yeah,
So
but yeah. So I just want to shout out those. I do want to play Metroid
I'm in a mood, by the
Prime
way.
Remaster. Really,
Yeah, I am in a I don't give a mood,
that's fair.
even though I just
That
bleep
is
myself.
fair.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast where we talk about being inside of Zelda. It's our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about the news stories and happenings inside
God
and
damn
out
it.
of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you want. We post a new episode each and every Monday at 8 o'clock now. We have a timestamp, so you can find us on most other popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please support us on our Patreon, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussion and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't, including Zelda. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital PERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel. We can get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episode reminders for you. Like Logan said, episode 49 is out. It's live. It is the debut of our brand new show, what we call Rankum. Kind of self-description, but anyway, we go through and we rank all sorts of topics like video game franchises, movies, and TV shows, and everything in between. Our first episode, in honor of May the 4th be with you, we went ahead and ranked all of the live-action Star Wars movies and TV shows. So go over there, check that out. We very much enjoyed doing it. So if you guys like it, please let us know, because we're 100% willing to sit down and just make that a brand new show that we do, once a month or something like that. Whatever, we don't care. Just let us know. So comment down below your questions of the week, maybe franchises to rank. Obviously, we would have to play it or watch it, so don't make me want to play. I don't know, every single Assassin's Creed game. Well, I guess I've played all
Every
of them.
single
So
Kingdom Hearts.
yeah, don't make me play. Well, I guess I've played two
Oh
of those
my,
too. So anyway, with all that out of the
that's
way,
fair.
let's get into the week's show. And around the point, Phil Spencer has opened up about the missteps taken with Redfall and the problems Xbox may or may not be facing to climb out of the hole they currently find themselves in. If rumors are to be believed, Modern Warfare 3 is coming much quicker than anybody thought or perhaps had hoped. The next Mortal Kombat may have been leaked, and guess what? It's not 12. But don't worry, we have so much more for you. Then in LTR, we dive into the reviews for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But before we get to all that, it's time for what is and forever will be the Rundown, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether they're gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Birdman, start us off. What, sir, have you been doing?
Well, so I'm gonna say real quick. I honestly probably should just delete this from what we do every week, but I played Monopoly. You've heard it. I don't really need to say much about it, but I've been playing Monopoly.
I do have one thing to say new about Monopoly. It's something I've
Yeah.
realized about the game. It very much plays heavily into the philosophical idea of what capitalism is. What I mean by that is the rich get richer. If you're able to like win tournaments, spend money on dice, get all these things, you just go, go, go. That's how I'm at 1500 right now because I was
Guess
able
what?
to.
Amy's coming up on you.
Is
Look
she?
at her score now. She's at 1400 now, I believe, right? I think.
Nice.
Whatever. She got like $81 million today from somebody. She
Damn.
won that from someone. Yeah.
That's impressive.
She's been getting super lucky this week in Monopoly, and in me, I've just been getting screwed and no money, and I barely been moving at all this week. But I
Well,
also have only played it like once a day. I need to get back into playing it like twice or three times a day.
yeah.
So I think that's also kind of my own fault. But yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's one thing I realized. The rich get richer and so be it. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I got. Sorry. You can move on to your next thing.
Yeah. So the other thing, I'll save the best for last. So I've been playing, as you guys probably heard from the last few episodes, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, which is the prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. Or I guess it's the first one out of the two. So I played Breath of the Wild. I completed it on Sunday. And yeah, I mean, I did the last like two divine beasts, and then I fought Ganon and beat him and everything, and it was great. It was a good time. I guess it's a little weird not to talk about this since I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, so it's a little weird. But I'm really happy that I did get to beat Breath of the Wild because that was the one goal I wanted to do at the beginning of this year, and a lot of people told me I wasn't probably gonna be able to do it, and I was able to beat it. Just like literally the week of Tears of the Kingdom coming out, and I'm very happy I did do that because Breath of the Wild is still insanely good. It's still a very impressive game that runs on Switch, and it runs insanely well for all the stuff that's happening in it. And it just, I don't know, it helps me bring a little bit more appreciation into the sequel that just came out, Tears of the Kingdom. It helps me also kind of see the differences between the two different games and like their worlds, and also some of the characters that completely change in the sequel. It's just, I don't know. It was a good game. I'm really happy I did beat it. I've always wanted to beat it ever since the Switch came out. I played it again. The first game I ever played on the Nintendo Switch was Breath of the Wild, and it was on my dad's Switch. And I still remember vividly being like just blown away by that game, playing it on there. And then I got it when I got a Switch, and then I just never beat it for some reason. It wasn't because I was bored. I didn't not like the game. I mean, clearly I loved it enough to beat it now. I just, for some reason, something new came around, and then there you go. I got pushed off of it. So I'm happy I did beat it. I do think it's a great game. I think it's very awesome. I especially loved all the divine beasts in that. I do kind of understand some people's gripes with it, where it's not, it doesn't really feel that different from each of them. But I still think it was really fun. I think it was insanely just awesome exploring all these different sections of the map with all their different kind of like ins and outs on like how to survive in each section. Like in the volcano thing, you need stuff to not get hurt when you're next to it, so you need to get like fire proof stuff or get like a fireproof armor. I thought that was really cool. And then still, I especially love that the game just lets you break things and you can like skip puzzles and all that. Like, I think one of the best examples I have is not the thing I brought the other week, but a new one was when during one of the Divine Beasts, it has this puzzle where there's a gate, and there's these two sections where you're supposed to put balls on them. Haha. So
Hey, balls and
I
Zelda, they go hand in hand.
um I have the Revolia ability, and so I straight up just skipped the entire puzzle by using his ability, flying up in the air and then just going above the gate and then falling in. I'm like, oh, I don't think I was supposed to do that, but who cares? I mean, that's the point of the game. It's just like you could do things that like they don't say you can't do that, but it does feel really funny when you do skip a puzzle that they built, that they want you to go through all these different steps, and then I just jump over it and say, nope, I'm just gonna get the thing and be
F
done.
it.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'm happy I beat it, and it brings a lot more appreciation for the sequel because now I know the world, I know a lot of the characters in the game because again I explored almost every inch of Breath of the Wild. There are some sections I didn't get to fully explore, and obviously there's some things I didn't get to complete because I mean I beat it in 48 to 50 hours. I have no idea because it seems like Switch hasn't been keeping up with my time, which I think is a little weird.
Which, by
I
the way,
definitely feel like
is quick. That's a
yeah, yeah.
that's a blitz through the game.
Yeah, so I didn't get to complete everything. Like I didn't get to do all the shrines. Obviously, didn't do all the Korok seeds, but I don't really give a shit. I wasn't gonna do all that
You
anyways.
don't want the gold
But
poop?
there's no, I don't want that stupid crap. But I also didn't get to
Uh,
explore some of the islands that are on the side of the map and everything. There's certain things I didn't get to explore, which kind of sucked. But I really wanted to beat this game. I didn't like super rush through it, but I feel like I did kind of miss some things in there. But I did at least get all the good character moments. I did at least do all the divine beasts. And I especially love that when you do all the divine beasts, I guess spoiler alert. Anyways, that was back in 2015. I especially love that, like at the very end, it helps you with the fight against Ganon, and I thought that was so cool. I didn't really know that was gonna happen, and I especially love that, like if you don't do those divine beasts, you have to still fight those bosses before the actual final Ganon boss, which I think is really cool. I like that. So
by the
I
way,
just wanted to get that real
Amy
quick. I know we
is
have a lot.
at 1222.
1222. Okay,
I'm at
yeah, still
1505. Yeah, it's impressive.
she's like 300 above me,
Yeah, Peyton's
so
at
that's insane.
Peyton's at a measly 780. She's
Yeah,
definitely slowed down. But
yeah,
anyway,
but
yeah. Um. Well, I guess I'll talk about a couple of things first, and then I'll turn it over to Tears for you. Okay. Well, I jumped back into a couple of VR things. Most importantly, Star Wars: Tales from the Galaxy. I played the demo of that. Um, and while the game is really good and it's fun, my dad was down, so I was showing off. That's why some of these are on here. I was showing off some of the new VR stuff to him. Actually got him excited enough. I just got off the phone with him before we started recording this, and he is waiting now to buy the MetaQuest 3 when it comes out. It's rumored still to be later this year, so we'll see when that comes
yeah.
out. So they definitely want to beat Apple to the market on that one. So, but anyway, so yeah, played a couple of that. You know, Star Wars: Tales from the Galaxy, really good game, a lot of fun. There's only one full level that you play with the demo, but I was dodging behind rocks, shooting. It's a really good game. I still don't think it's worth $50 for me, so I'm gonna wait till it goes a little bit on sale before I jump into it. I know there's a lot of content, but even with all that, it's still only like 10 hours, which I guess is still, I guess technically that's good for a VR game, but I don't know. It's just not worth $50 in my head for some stupid reason. So, and then I played this new game called Drums Rock. Demo came out. It is essentially Guitar Hero with the drums at the VR thing. And played the demo of that. $20. It's probably worth $20. I'm not gonna get it because I'm still waiting for Beat Saber. That's some sort of news of when it's coming. It's got to
I'm
be
surprised
coming.
it's not there by
Dude,
now.
it's so annoying. It's like the one game everybody wants, and like while there's some good experiences, there's actually some great experiences right now in PSVR 2 from what I hear. I'd listen to people. It's just not there for some reason yet. Don't know why. It says Modern Warfare 2, but I didn't actually play any Modern Warfare 2. I just didn't take it off the list because I thought we were going to, but then I had to clean up for my dad coming down, and I didn't actually get a chance to. But anyway, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's officially done, knocked out. I completed it. Was it Tuesday night? I was talking to you guys about it. Yeah, completed it Tuesday night. I absolutely love this game. I'm already writing up my review for you guys, so keep it tuned to the channel for that. But overall, I think it's an absolute fantastic game with definitely not without its problems, mostly in performance, mostly just on the game overall runs. I don't think there's a lot of problems with the game behind it, like the gameplay, the story, the narrative, the characters, the design of it. I think it's all actually pretty excellently designed video game. It just doesn't run well, and that's going to be my biggest criticism of that when we get to it. So, but all right, go ahead and do Tears first.
Where do I begin? Um, just damn. That's all I gotta say. I have been extremely addicted to this game, like since the midnight release. I started playing this exactly at 11. I got on my Switch. I stayed up till about 2 in the morning playing it, at least the what I would consider the tutorial section of the game. And I've been playing a lot of it the last 2 days. I played a bit of it today, and then yesterday I played a lot of it as well. So about 10 to 12 hours into the game. Um, so I have a pretty good idea of how the game is so far. Dude, this game is pretty damn insane. I don't again, I don't understand how they get this, like what black magic they're using to make this game run on the Switch, but again, it again spits on the fact that when people were looking at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and they're like, the Switch is just too weak and stuff, but it's like then you see the Zelda people come up and they're like, "Oh, really? Too weak, huh?" And then they just make this. And this game is so insane with the amount of content and things to do in it, and it's just insane. The abilities are super fun to mess with. I definitely agree with a lot of people where it definitely takes some time to get used to the Ultra Hand ability. It is a little weird to get used to at first, but as soon as you get it down, it kind of just works, and you could do some insanely funny shit with it, and I love it to death. Like today, um, I had to get like a Korok seed to his friend. So I started cutting down all the trees in this forest, and I made one big freaking bridge. And I literally used the Ultra Hand to put it all the way across. Sadly, it didn't work out for me. Amy had to hear my bitching and complaining because I let me throw out a little tip to people out there. If you make something like that and you decide to save the game, I just want to let you know the game does not save the item that you made because I learned that the hard way. I made an entire bridge. It took me probably 10 minutes of me just cutting down trees and putting together this bridge just to get a Korok across this river. And and then I accidentally no, this was really frustrating. I made it all the way across the bridge, like maybe just a fraction of a second, and I fell off into freezing water and then died. And I was literally like a second away. And I was so frustrated. I'm like, oh, I saved the game. No big deal. The bridge will still be there. Nope, load it back in. Bridge is gone.
Damn.
All that progress I had is gone.
Damn, damn,
So
damn.
that kind of sucked, but I don't care. I think it is absolutely fun because dumb things like that is stuff that you could do, and there's so many other things I haven't even thought about doing that you could just do whatever you want with the Ultra Hand. You could do really dumb. Oh god, I almost did this. I swear I'm gonna hit this light at me someday. Um, but it's just insanely crazy the stuff you can do with the new abilities. I love the new fuse ability. I've been messing around doing really dumb combinations with weapons. One of them, I think the dumbest thing I ever did was I got a stick and I put a bomb on it, and I'm like, oh, what does it do? Well, what do you think, Mike? You hit something and it blows up in your face and you die. So I learned that the hard way because when I first got to
I don't think
Hyrule,
that's a hard way to learn. I think that's common
I know.
knowledge. You just gapped.
I just wanted to see what would happen because sometimes I think you could put a bomb on the shield, and if they hit the shield, it will actually not hurt you. But I think that's only with the shield. So I thought the stick would do the same thing. No,
That's cool.
it basically turns it into a World War II stick grenade where I just boom die. So I learned that the hard way.
I guess you could make it like put the bomb on the stick and then throw the stick.
Yeah, no, I did do that the
Okay,
second
cool,
time.
cool, cool.
See,
Oh,
you could basically make a hand grenade. You
since
could
we're
literally just
since
throw.
we're on the topic, this got delivered today. I pre-ordered it months ago. It is the amiibo.
Dude, I'm so jealous right now. I wanted that. I really wanted that, but it's sold out
Oh,
instantly.
dude, no! I woke up to the notification. I was like 5 minutes late. And I thought, "There's no way." Got
Yeah.
it. GameStop. I know I gave
Dude,
GameStop
that is
money.
the one amiibo that I've wanted. It is so freaking cool, and I'm unbelievably jealous right now that
Yeah.
you have that. But yeah,
I
guys, like I'm
follow.
telling you,
If you want this kind of stuff, follow Wario64 on Twitter. He
yeah,
posts his
yeah.
stuff all the time. That's how I get all my stuff. That's how I learn when collector's editions go live, and that's how I get all the amiibos and statues and everything. So I pretty much woke up to his notification. Didn't even put my
Mhm.
contacts in. Was just like, not glasses not on, phone this close because I'm blind as fuck, and just
Mhm.
ordered this amiibo off GameStop. And then I went to work, and
That's
I was like,
amazing.
got it. So, but yeah,
I'm
that was
so
really cool.
jealous.
I was very happy when they came in. So I wanted to
But
throw that in there.
no, you're good. You're good. But I'm just so impressed with this game because, like, let me calm a couple people down that may not know this, but a lot of people, and even me, when I saw the first few trailers, this is definitely not a DLC to Breath of the Wild. It is definitely not even close to that. This
People are so
is
dumb.
it's fair. I kind of see why people may see that, but the more I start to see more trailers and the actual gameplay that he showcased, I was already could figure out that it wasn't DLC. Because in my opinion, what Tears of the Kingdom is it's literally the Ragnarok of them
Yeah,
two. It's the
I mean,
same thing. God of War 2018 came out. It was brand new, completely different. It was kind of doing some
excuse me.
insane things, and it blew everybody away. So Ragnarok came out, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just like a DLC. It looks the same." Like, yeah, graphically it looks the same, which is fair. It doesn't look much graphically, like more graphically impressive in many ways than what the 2018 was, but they refined it. They fixed a lot of our issues that we had, and they added so much more to it that like you could not call it a DLC. Like they literally made a good sequel, and that's what this is too. This is a insanely good sequel to Breath of the Wild. It adds a lot more. Yes, it has Hyrule, it has the map that you know, but there are a ton of differences from I can tell you right now. Also, enemy variety, freaking insane so far. It's been Elden Ring levels of enemy variety, and I am loving it. And every corner I turn, I find some new enemy, and it's so awesome. And dude, this brings me right back to last year with Elden Ring again. I've been obsessed with this game. I've been playing it constantly. Right now, all I'm thinking about is wanting to play it. Um, this game is really good, and in my opinion, I think I'm gonna like this game way more than I did Breath of the Wild. Kind of like how I did with Ragnarok. I really like Ragnarok more than 2018. I think 2018 is still very great, still really good, but I prefer Ragnarok. And that's kind of how this is for me. I am actually kind of preferring this one now after playing only 12 hours. So I know I haven't beat it yet, but I can definitely tell you right now, I've been just obsessed with this. The amount of exploration and the amount of things that you can find, like they even added caves to this game, and there are insane amount of caves in this game, and it's this constant excitement of like something around the corner, and it gives me all the Elden Ring vibes. I know I'm saying Elden Ring, I know Breath of the Wild was the first one to start it, but they really took some pages from the Elden Ring book and they put it in this, and I'm loving every second of it. And I just gotta say, it's great. It's great. Like I'm really happy about this game. I do want to throw in a little negative. It's not awful to the point where it's ruining my gameplay, but this game does have some frame rate issues in there. And
Well,
it's
yeah, you're
mainly connected to the Ultra Hand ability. Most of the time, if you're not using the Ultra Hand, you will basically barely get any. Like you probably won't even notice any frame drops. I mean, heck, you can jump from the sky, go all the way down, and you won't have a frame drop. But Ultra Hand, that's when things get a little spicy. Because as soon as you turn that on, then the game starts to get a little choppy. It's not like awful to the point where it's like ruining my gameplay and I can't play it. But it definitely does drop the frame rate a bit. I'm really happy they did end up coming out with a update too, because supposedly during the review process they had an update come out which added FSR to the game, so it is using Fidelity FX. I think it's just one. It's not even using the second one. Um, and so it's technically like running at a lower resolution but upscaled. I think even supposedly, I don't know if this was true. I don't know if I got this mixed up when I watched the Digital Foundry video. Because it kind of confused me. They said it runs at 900p, but then they also said it runs at 1080p with the FSR bringing up. So I don't know what I heard there. So I'm just gonna say 900p, but it may be 1080p. But I will tell you, it does look like ever so slightly sharper than what Breath of the Wild did. Like I can notice it. I can notice a little bit more sharpness to the game compared to when Breath of the Wild. And the good thing is I have a good idea of this because I literally just played Breath of the Wild and just beat it Sunday. So I do have a good idea of how to like compare the two. But yeah, I could gush about this game this entire podcast and tell you all these different things. But I just wanted to give a little of an initial impression to the game, and I gotta say, I'm loving it. I'm really happy. I tempered my expectations too for this game because I was a little worried people were overhyping it. So I didn't want to get my hopes too high, especially with modern gaming and all these developers seeming to want to come out with garbage, horribly performed games. And so now to have this, it's really refreshing and it's just great. I'm having a great time. Heck, I mean, technically, this game technically runs better than when Elden Ring came out. So hey, so yeah, this is great. I'm having a good time. I can't wait to get back into it, and you guys will get an update soon on it. But if you haven't gotten it, or if you have a Switch and you are just maybe, I don't know if you're waiting for us, but maybe you're hearing us and maybe our impression helped you, I definitely want to say I full-heartedly recommend this game 100%. Again, I think this might possibly be the game of the year for me, but who knows? I don't want to jump that far yet, but I will
All
say
right.
12 hours in, I'm addicted. So,
Well, that's great to hear. I'm glad. I didn't expect anything else. Like, the reviews came out, and I guess they were a little higher. I mean, it's 2 points higher than I predicted on our prediction battle, but I think everybody knew this is Zelda. Like, they're just not bad games. Real quick, commenting on the stupidity of the internet out there, talking about sequels as DLCs. They're just annoying. They're dumb. Like,
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
just like,
Star Wars Jedi Survivor, people are like, oh, it's a DLC. I heard that too. It's like, no, it's not. It's another 40-hour game. It's not a DLC. The Burning
see,
Shores DLC that just came out for Horizon, that's a good
mhm,
DLC. That's like 6 or so hours of story
yeah,
expansions, a new area, a smaller area. That's what DLC is. A brand new game that is bigger, sometimes twice, 3, 4 times bigger than the sequel, just because it looks the same, is not a DLC. Whatever happened to, sequels, just, no one ever said, Uncharted 2 was DLC for Uncharted 1.
I know.
And that's a 10-hour game. Uncharted 3 is even
I will
shorter.
say Uncharted 2 does look better,
Okay, let's
in
say
my opinion.
Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 2. Like, both of those look fairly similar.
Kind of, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
still think even Uncharted 3 did some crazy things that were different. I don't
Okay, well,
know.
bad example. Okay, how about this? The
Let's just
Lost
stick with the
Legacy to
God of
4.
War one. I think God of War is probably the best example.
Well, I was trying to go
Because
back in time, saying how,
oh yeah,
like,
I'm trying to think of
people used to
another one.
never say that kind of stuff. God of War 2 to God of War 1. There we go. Those two
Yeah,
games
there we
look very
go. Yeah,
similar.
they did, yes.
But God of War 2 is massive compared to the first game. And it's just
Well,
like,
and in my opinion,
shut up.
what would you more rather? Would you rather them come out with a sequel where they increase the graphics and everything, but they had less content, or they had maybe the same amount of content, or they keep the same graphics, they refine it, they add a ton more gameplay, a ton more experience, and a ton of that. What would you more rather? I think I would much rather them stick with the same graphics and increase the amount of stuff for the game because it helps them in their development process. I would much rather that.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy they spent all these years instead of upgrading Zelda's graphic engine and adding all these different graphical things, but then having maybe like half of what the Breath of the Wild had in the end. I'd much rather them just kind of keep with what they had and focus on adding more gameplay, more everything. That's way more impressive in my opinion as a video game person because I play video games for the gameplay. I play video games because they are video games. They're games. I want to play them. So that's not a dig at any other game. I love narrative stuff, but I'm just trying to say that like when a game is coming out and it looks the same, I'm totally fine with it. I'd rather it look the same and add more stuff in it than it looking better and having maybe the same or even less content.
Yeah.
So
I did want to throw out, I forgot to say, I rolled credits on Jedi Survivor at about 34 hours. I've played a couple hours since then. So it definitely is a overall bigger game. But I do have to point out, and I'll get into this in my review, there's not as many planets in this one. There's really only 2 major planets with a bunch of smaller little things you go to. Not going to spoil
Mhm.
anything, but those 2 planets are massive, especially the main one. Kobo is huge. We're talking about like bigger than any of the areas in God of War big.
Damn.
Like it is
Okay.
massive, and the game is structured in a way that it keeps bringing you back there with your new powers and your the whole Metroidvania stuff. You keep
Mhm.
coming back there to update characters, to find new things, and then you can go out and explore or find new areas. And there's so many nooks and crannies in this game, so many different areas you just stumble upon. I think the game is very, very good outside of the performance issues, but we'll get all to that in the review. Okay, I'm glad to hear Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely fantastic. And with our history now, with the MCU, I'm changing tones here.
Mhm.
Those of you who've been listening to us know Logan and I are not happy with the MCU right now. Like a lot of you out there, you're not happy with the MCU. We think it's, I don't think it's bad yet. It's not moved into the bad territory. It's just consistently disappointing. A lot with what's happening with Star Wars, There's a consistent disappointment in not quite reaching that quality level that we have come to expect because they used to be there. Well, guys, I'm happy to say Guardians of the Galaxy 3 reaches that and beyond for me. Was absolutely blown away with this movie. It is a solid 5 out of 5. There's a big part of my brain that's really trying to figure out which one I liked more, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or, yes, I'm saying it, Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie is
What?
that good.
No way.
This movie blew me away
Absolutely. That's
on
crazy.
every single level. It is funny as hell, like they've always been. It is
Mhm.
dramatic as hell. Brought me to
Uh,
tears 3 times. The character development in this movie is just awe-inspiring. What they were able to do with characters that we've known for 8 years now. This is a masterclass of an MCU movie, maybe even a masterclass of a movie. Definitely superhero movies. This is the easiest 5 out of 5 I've given in a long time. It's a long one. It's like it's pushing 2.5 hours, I think. It is a long
mhm.
movie, but it has this feel of finality to it. Like I talked about in our intro, we know this is the end of the Guardians as we know them. James Gunn's leaving.
Mhm.
Most of the main characters and actors are leaving. Drax isn't coming back. Batista. So it has this feel of finality to it, and I guess maybe that helped play this role of everything is so serious. And like I believe that this was all leading up to the end of whatever this is and the end of it happening. And I guess maybe some of that outside helped a little bit, but I also think the movie does a very good job of giving you that feel of everything is coming to a close. Like,
Mhm.
we're dealing with this. And it did something that Doctor Strange just shit the bed with. It's a sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's the ending of the trilogy. Yes, the things that happened in Infinity War and Endgame are there. Mostly
Mhm.
that is revolve around Gamora characters like plot and what happens with her character
Mhm.
arc. That's mostly what it's built around. But the movie as a whole, all the characters, what they're dealing with, what they're going through, especially Rocket. This is a sequel and an ending to the Guardians trilogy first and foremost. And this is first and foremost a James Gunn movie. It is not an MCU movie, even though it's in the wider whole. But I was absolutely floored for the 2 hours and 20 minutes, whatever the runtime of this movie is. I thought it was just phenomenal. I said, I I don't know if it's better than No Way Home. No, because No Way Home's incredible. But
Mhm.
this is a damn good fucking movie, man. This is
Dude, that has me unbelievably hyped now because this is both a good thing and a bad thing. I'm really hyped because I had a good feeling this movie was gonna be good no matter what. But it's also a bad thing because we know this is probably gonna be, who
the last good
knows, probably
MCU
one of the
movie.
last good MCU movie. And that's kind of sad to say, but
And if it
and
is a
that let's
last
not get
good,
to the negative. I want to stick with the pause right now. I want to celebrate the fact that I'm happy that this movie is. I mean, somehow for you saying that has me kind of like even more excited for this movie to be close to No Way Home. In my opinion, No Way Home is easily one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. I mean, heck, it's honestly damn close to beating Infinity War for me. It almost is, and so like to hear that, that's like That's a lot.
Dude, I
That
mean,
means it's got to be really good.
and I had that
So,
thought leaving the theater. I mean, I was floored. I was blown away. I didn't really talk. Peyton and I didn't really talk too much on the way home. We made small comments here, but like, oh, this was
mhm,
cool. Oh, this was really neat.
mhm.
That was awesome. But I was just like, fuck, is it that good? Like, because it was in my head, and I'm thinking it. I'm like, fuck, that was great, dude. That was absolutely fantastic. And I'm sitting there, and like, I saw it Sunday night. That's a lie. I saw it Monday night. So I've been thinking about it throughout the week, and I was like, that was absolutely fantastic. That was some of the best MCU we've ever gotten. Easily. Action, amazing. Like I said, the character work is just so top notch. Like the writing is not the MCU writing that we've known since Endgame. It is before Endgame character writing. Like they know what they're doing. There's a point to get to. There's a story that they're telling. It doesn't concern itself with the grander scheme of the characters and things like that. Like again, this does have some of the plots and storylines that happened with Endgame, mostly again centered around Gamora's character. But
Mhm.
this does care about telling a cohesive story and capping off this trilogy, which I mean, in my eyes, it's the best trilogy. Because I don't love Homecoming as much as other people do. I really like Far From Home, and I really absolutely adore No Way Home. Uh, but I don't love Homecoming as much as other people do. In my eyes, this is probably the best trilogy we've gotten in the MCU
Really?
as a whole, taken as a whole, Volume 1, 2, and
I
3.
mean, I will admit, I do love the first. Like, I think Volume 1 and 2 are easily up there. I think if I could pull up my listing, I'm too lazy to do it right now. I know it's up there, like, in my top 10. I still think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 are both phenomenal movies with barely almost to zero to almost no negatives, in my opinion. I think they both are amazing, and that's why I had full faith in this movie because he's made two absolutely amazing MCU movies. So I kind of already had an expectation that it was gonna be great, but for you to say that though, that's above my expectations.
Dude, I mean,
So
it beat my
that is like
expectations. And that's why
crazy.
I was sitting there watching it, and there wasn't a single second I was bored. Every scene that transpired built on one another, and it just kept bringing you this story. And it kept, dude, the movie punches you in the face with the emotion. Like, I could not
Yeah.
believe how emotionally attached I was to these characters. And I already knew I loved these characters. But I couldn't believe what he was able to pull off with one particular character. And I don't want to spoil anything. I'm never going to. But this movie is so much more emotional than I ever thought leading into it. Like I'm in for another fun ride. Yes, it's gonna have some good character work. I'm gonna laugh a lot. I
Mhm.
got all of that, and then I also got I cried. Well, I teared up twice. I guess I teared up 3 times. I don't know if I ever cry in movies. I cried at No Way Home. That's mostly because I was just
Yeah.
happy of what I was seeing. But yeah, dude, this movie brought me to eye-watering everything, and I don't know how to say it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a masterpiece of an MCU movie. I can't wait for you to watch it. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how you would not like this movie. You may not love it as much as I do because now your expectations are a little higher. But
I'm gonna try to temper my expectations still, but
I don't
I am
see.
like dwindling now with you because the fact that you're saying that has me very high
Yeah,
because I do believe like I usually agree with you on most movie things. So this if you're saying that, I think I am gonna agree with you on being that good.
yeah.
So
It may not be as good as No Way Home. That may be a little bit of hyperbolicism on me, and
yeah.
what's the terminology? It's like the newest thing I've seen, so
Hmm.
I forgot the term for that is. But
A recency bias?
recency bias. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't really think it is because I've sat with it for now. I mean, this is Saturday we're recording this, so I've sat with this for 5 days now, 5 6 days, and like again, I don't know if it's better, but it's definitely in the same conversation in terms of quality MCU movies. It's definitely up there with easily the best. It shoots straight up the list for me. Um, Again, in terms of volume 1, 2, and 3, which one is better? They're all amazing. I think in just because of the emotional core that this is able to give you and that sense of finality that leads it to a much heavier film, in terms of its seriousness. So I
Hmm.
guess without thinking too heavily on it, it may be the best of the trilogy, the finale of it.
Hmm.
But it's because it's a lot more emotional. But you still do get the laughs, you get the jokes. It's funny as could be, and yeah, it's I was surprised by how much I loved it, and it really was a roller coaster of a ride, and I kind of want to go see it again. But I got a lot to do, so I probably won't go see it again. But I really want to. So
I'm just happy to hear that's good. I just can't wait, man. I really wish I could have seen it before we recorded, so then we could have both talked about it. But I will hopefully I will hopefully be able to watch it Monday or Tuesday. So I'm gonna hope.
yeah, I don't see how you won't like it. Again, you may not love it as much
Yeah,
as I did, but I know you, you know me. There's not a single thing that I think you're gonna be like, oh, that sucked, that was awful. Because
yeah,
the problems that I have with the MCU, you agree with. We disagree on a lot, but we agree on the MCU problems. Like they're just
that's fair.
yeah, they don't act like sequels to each other. Everything is building to a point that they've never even explained, which is just a feeling of lost in translation watching these movies sometimes. And this doesn't have a single second of that. From the moment the movie starts, you know where it's going. There's a point, there's a narrative thread, and there is an emotional thread the movie just keeps tugging on over and over again. It keeps jumping back to this whole plot line and story with a certain character, and it just keeps going in on you. It keeps going in you, and then you get to the end, and you get that rah rah moment, and it's just, dude, it's so good. I'm just, again, like you with Tears of the Kingdom, I could honestly talk about Guardians 3 for the next 2 hours plus. It's fantastic, and I can't wait for you to see it. We'll probably jump on some Call of Duty, and we'll just gush about it because I think this is a fantastic movie, a spectacular movie. The first,
I honestly might tear up too with this movie because I'm not gonna lie,
it's
like
sad,
those
man.
trailers were already like giving me like someone or something as bad is going to happen. Like either someone's gonna die or that. Obviously, I don't want to know. But I've been also trying to stay away from spoilers because I really just want to go see this movie, experience it with nothing, and just I can't wait. But I'm also just kind of sad because it's kind of like the death of MCU for me because I don't think any other MCU thing right now has me anywhere close to as excited as this movie.
Yeah,
Everything else just looks lame compared to this. Other than Deadpool isn't really MCU, but Deadpool too. But you know,
yeah.
and the new Spider-Man. But that's it. You know.
I wouldn't say it revitalized my MCU love because I don't think any one movie could do that right now because I'm so
Yeah.
disappointed with what we're getting, what we've gotten for the past 2 years now. Just none of it has really been anywhere close to what we've had before, outside of No Way Home, obviously. But
Hmm.
I'm realizing something. My two favorite movies since Endgame are movies that don't deal a lot with the MCU. They deal with their own
Hmm.
self-contained stories, and maybe that's the future. Move back to more self-contained stories. And yes, you can have some plot threads here and there, but stop worrying so much about the grander whole and just make the individual components built up. And then doing that will give you the grander whole. That's what made the MCU so cool. We always had these individual movies, these stories that were told with little narrative plot threads here and there that built to the Avengers movies, built to the Civil War, and those movies were able to pay those storylines off in a very resounding way, which is why we all loved it. We never went to every single movie because like, oh, I gotta go see Doctor Strange because my favorite character is Spider-Man. I have to see what happens. You know, no one does that. Maybe okay, some people may do, but they shouldn't do that. Is what I'm saying. Each movie should be its own movie, and it's just not right now. But all right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
honestly, that makes me think that I think this new phase, because I guess we're still in the same phase.
no,
Honestly, I do
actually,
think.
Ant-Man started the new phase.
Oh, we
So
did. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we're in phase five
I
now.
do agree
Phase
with
four
you.
was
I think
shit, dude.
honestly, if they would have just went to back to like their roots with the fact of bringing back their own because like all the original MCU movies were their own stories. But yeah, they sprinkled in like a tiny bit of like Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Ooh, Thanos. But like they're like it was very like it was like sprinkles, but I feel like now with the MCU they're like the whole thing is about, the MCU and the greater whole, and instead of just making its own story with its own villain and its own thing and then sprinkling in something big. Which I thought they were gonna do with this with like the multiverse, because like No Way Home kind of started that whole thing, but then they just didn't do anything with it, and it's just like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
But again, very excited now. I can't wait. I'll probably be talking a little bit about it. I probably won't talk about it as much whenever I watch it after seeing it. Me and Mike are probably going to talk a lot about it outside of the podcast because I'm very excited. I can't wait. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is easily one of my favorite thing in the MCU. I absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm very excited. I
Said
can't wait.
I do want to watch it again because there is that voice in the back of my head that, one of my things that I keep going back to is this movie has this amazing sense of finality to it, and I don't really know if that's my outside knowledge of what's going on or the movie doing it itself. I think the movie does do it, but it's heightened by that outside knowledge of everyone knowing this is the end. And that leads it that little higher sense of finality. But like I said, I do fully believe that the movie gives me that sense as well. There's, as things are playing out, as things are going down, there is that pervasive sense like this is coming to an end. This is a series finale of a TV show. After this, it's not going to be the same thing again. So I need to watch it again to really hone in what I think on that. But again, we're picking hair. Oh, I'm picking hairs here. It's a phenomenal movie, a 5 out of 5, easily the best thing we've gotten since No Way Home, and it's definitely up there with the best we've gotten in the past 3 or 4 years from the MCU. Props off to James Gunn. I'm gonna miss you, man, but I'll tell you what, this movie gives me a proverbial shit ton of hope for DC going forward. Because if he's at the helm, I mean, he's directing the new Superman movie.
Ooh.
Yeah. This movie.
I would still wish Henry Cavill came back.
Yeah, I do too, but whatever. It didn't happen, but this gives me a lot of hope. Like if he's at the helm, like obviously he's not going to be involved in every single project, but if he's leading the charge, I think we're going to get better stuff from DC. We're definitely not going to get Black Adam again. That movie sucked. That movie was awful.
Really,
dude.
I haven't seen it.
Dude, it was garbage. And I'm a huge Rock fan. It was a garbage movie. I hated every second of it.
Damn.
A 2 out of 5. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the rundown. I don't think I missed anything. No, we're good. So we're going to go now to Around the Point, where we here at the video
game podcast experience point presents
it's
Around
late, man.
the Point.
It's late, so anyway, we're going to go now to Around the Point, where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. Sorry, I misclicked. Number 1 on Around the Point. This is a catch-up story from last week that we weren't able to get to, but it's a pretty big story. I wanted to talk about it. It has a lot of play with, the future of Xbox and gaming as a whole. Anyway, if you haven't heard, I don't know how you haven't heard because it's been everywhere since this interview happened. But the guys over at Kinda Funny and the XCast did a very open interview with Mr. Phil Spencer. Sat down and talked to him about the Redfall launch, Xbox as a whole, and things moving forward. And Logan and I are going to just delve in and talk about some of the things we liked about this interview, some of the things we definitely did not like. There's one thing I just vividly disagree with what Phil Spencer said, but we'll get into all that. So we're going to try to keep this short, concise, and to the point, but who knows? We like to ramble sometimes. So anyway, Mr. Birdman, why don't you start it off? What do you think overall about this interview?
Well, obviously there's some positive and negatives. But I will say one big positive is the balls for him to go onto this podcast and kind of just spill the beans. I don't think any other president of any of these two other contenders would ever do that. Jim Ryan would never, ever do something like that. And I don't know the name of Mr. Nintendo, but I'm going to call him Mr. Nintendo.
Well, the one ahead of America is Doug Bowser, but I only know that because his last name is Bowser.
I would say Reggie, but obviously he isn't in there anymore. But
he'd retire.
Honestly, Reggie probably would. Honestly, I think he would.
No, Nintendo wouldn't let him get this.
Really?
Open.
You wouldn't think Reggie would do that? Dude, Reggie was a lot like Phil Spencer.
He'd probably want to, but Nintendo would shut him down. Yeah, Microsoft didn't shut him down, so.
Okay, but back to the point.
I want to agree that
I give him. Sorry, I just think he has big balls going on here, publicly saying all the faults of what is going on with Xbox itself right now, and also just the fact that they kind of really dropped the ball with Redfall, even though Redfall was never like I know it was never meant to be the most exciting game this year, but it was supposed to have quality, and Xbox has kind of shown now 2 times in a row with well, they're big ones, not Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is great, but
Yeah,
that's not
but that's not
a
AAA.
AAA.
Yeah,
That's not the big ones, you
that's
know.
not the
So you had
reason
Halo
someone's gonna go buy an
Infinite, they had
Xbox.
Halo Infinite, and they had Redfall, and they both have just been absolute flops 2 times in a row. And yeah, just go on. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we'll
You're good.
get more into like how he talks about, like
Yeah, I mean,
kind of how they messed up in the process of kind of they should have been more involved
yeah.
with the making of the game.
Before we
So
delve deep into it, I do just want to, echo what Logan was saying. Props to Mr. Phil Spencer. While I'm not his biggest fan, I do believe he's a great guy. Just not his biggest fan of how he's run Xbox. And like I said, we'll get into that. But I do think he is just a good human being. And he really, he very very rarely wants to let his consumers and his customers know that he's trying his best. He may not always be succeeding, but he's trying. And props to this man for getting on here, being as transparent as he was. Like we said, Jim Ryan, I don't even think he would do an interview. he would just
no,
he would just
would
record
not.
a response. He'd have a Skype
Yeah.
call where he recorded or something. I don't think this man even knows how to use OBS. You remember that fucking video of him holding the controller where he was like, "Oh, I'm playing the newest game," and I'm like, "No one holds a controller like that. You freaking corporate
Yeah.
douche."
It
But hey,
looks like you definitely play PlayStation. Yeah.
some companies need the money guy to run the company and creatives to create things, but. Anyway, props to Phil Spencer. Like I said, I agreed with some of the things he said here, and I appreciate some of the things that he said here. There's some things I kind of disagree, and then there's one major thing I just think he's completely wrong on. And there's proof that he's wrong in my eyes to back that up. But we'll delve into that here. But first and foremost, props to Mr. Phil Spencer for coming out, being transparent with us, giving us a look at the overall thought over there. And maybe it helps us understand them a little bit. I don't think it excuses anything that they've gone through or they've done, but it helps us understand a little bit here and there. So where do you want to start with this, man? What do you want to talk about first? Let's just talk about their involvement with Redfall and what he talked about there.
Yeah.
Let's start there. So he goes on in this interview. Sorry, you could go ahead. You do it.
No, you're
No,
good
you do
if
it.
you want to do it.
You're
Okay,
good.
okay. I don't have word for word with this. Again, I kind of got the what I'm gonna call the PowerPoint slide of the gist of what all went down during this interview. Because I didn't really care to. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care to go and listen to this entire podcast with him. I more just wanted the gist of what was going down. So I know a decent amount. So with Redfall, he kind of goes on to explain that like how they were trying to do things was they wanted to be very offhand with it, and they wanted to, as he would say, he wanted the creators to have their own control in this. But then in the end, like he also kind of brings up the fact that he kind of knew this game wasn't gonna be good. In this interview, by the fact that he brings up that he admits that they kind of lied about the fact that this game was supposed to run at 60 FPS at launch. Which, by the way, Mike, I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures, but literally on the case of Redfall, it literally
Yeah.
says 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So clearly, their main thing, all their marketing and everything was showing the game running at 60, and it didn't do that. And I mean, that's why there's stickers on the cases that literally say that the performance mode is going to be added later, which I think is funny, but also just really dumb. And he just kind of admits that like he kind of just they were a little too offhand on this. They also knew about the problems with it, and they gave like their support to them very late in their development process. And so basically with that, they weren't able to, because they got like Coalition and I got this, don't you dare say it, Rare, to help with their performance. And clearly they just didn't have enough time to help them bring that performance up to what they wanted. And so yeah, he kind of just admits that like maybe they should have more of a They should be more involved with their creators than just giving them free reign. I mean, they should have already known this with Halo Infinite and Halo 5, and you would think you've learned that by now. But no, because clearly we got Redfall, and he's starting. I don't know if he's starting. I don't even know what to believe anymore. But he basically just kind of explains that they fucked up again. They should have really had people supporting these developers. They should have been giving them all the support that they needed to make the game that they wanted. If you are going to support them with whatever they make, then you need to give them the support they need. But he didn't, and it was at the very last minute they finally gave them support, and that wasn't enough time to do it. So, and now supposedly, I'm just going to jump into a little thing, but he did bring up that supposedly they did actually get support a lot earlier on Starfield. No surprise. I mean, it is their big one this year. So I'm going to hope to God that that support actually does help Starfield, because they're going to need it. They're going to need every bit of support they can get with that game, because if they don't come out with a solid launch, it's not going to be great.
Yeah,
it's not going to be great.
It's going to be really, really ugly. I don't believe it will, mostly because, I mean, we've talked about this a couple times. Like, it's a situation now where Starfield has to hit. It has to. It can't not.
If it doesn't, I literally mean this, guys. I'm kind of done. Like, that's just, come on, people.
And that's
like,
sad.
You got to get this down. You have to do it. This is the year that you need to literally hit it. Then you need to hit that nail in. It needs to be on it. This needs to be the year that you turn it around. You finally start coming out with games that come out that are quality. And I know there's other games, guys. I know Forza's come out. I know I clearly even bring up Hi-Fi Rush a lot. I think Hi-Fi Rush is an insanely good game, but it isn't a big one. Yes, Forza's are, but Forza's aren't for everyone. Where these games are a lot more open to a wider audience. So you really do need to nail Starfield. Starfield, and there's a lot of people out there. Well, I think, didn't Phil Spencer say, he did say this. He said that Starfield isn't going to get people to want to join Xbox, I believe, during this interview.
He said,
which is just, in my opinion,
he said, and I quote,
and utterly wrong.
I have a quote here. It says, "There is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people are selling the PS5s. That's not going to happen." I agree that no one's going to sell the PS5 to get this, but I guess I was going to save this for later. I was going to talk about some of the good things, but I guess we kind of tilted here, so we'll go right into it. He says, and this is, I'm going to go into the point where I completely and utterly disagree with what he had to say about the industry as a whole. Hold on, let's see. Okay, I'll just read the whole quote. Screw it, fuck it. It says, "We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There really isn't a great solution for us to win." By the way, this is Phil Spencer, not me. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but the truth of the matter is, when you're third place in the console market and the top two players are as strong as they are and have, in certain cases, a very discreet focus on doing deals and other things that kind of make being Xbox hard for us as a team. That's on us, not on anybody else. Spencer went on to say, "I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around." He goes on to say, "It's just not true. That if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shifts in some dramatic way. We've lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library games. The idea that if we just focus more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think that doesn't relate to the reality of most people." I just think you're completely and utterly wrong.
That is completely and utterly wrong.
100%. You're telling me
literally.
All right, no, let me say this. You're telling me if Xbox didn't have Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, you're telling me they wouldn't be in a better place right now? That's just completely and utterly wrong.
Well, they could even look back at their own history. They have their own history.
Yeah.
With the 360. 360 clearly was something that sold people. Halo, Gears of War. We had Forza, Fable, etc., 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 etc. We had so many games on there, and those were system sellers. That is what made the 360 so damn good. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
that makes no fucking
Just
sense.
because Xbox One flopped and we didn't get enough games and everything doesn't mean you can't bring it back with Series X by coming out with quality games. That's bullshit. And you know it's bullshit because clearly, heck, Hi-Fi Rush, a game that you shadow dropped, everybody was singing the praises for you on how insanely good that is, and I bet you a lot of people got on Game Pass to play that game. And I bet you a lot of people that had Xbox, they were like really happy. They want good games. Heck, Forza is a good seller for Xbox. Clearly, people want to play good games. Like, what do you mean? What I mean, I bet you a lot of people bought the Xbox even for Halo Infinite, expecting it to be good. So it's literally people do want to buy consoles for good games. Like that's a dumb way of thinking. It doesn't even take a business person to understand that.
Yeah.
That's like basic knowledge,
And
honestly.
that honestly scares me because if that is the way that Xbox and Microsoft thinks as a whole, how do they
Yeah,
climb out of this? If you don't
I know.
think making, 4 to 5 years of, consistently great games, let's say 5 or 6 amazing games for the rest of this generation, if you don't think that's somehow going to affect your business, what fucking business are you in? Because you're not in the
Yeah,
business of making games. You're not in the business of selling me a reason why to buy your console. Again, people, he says, it's not the reality for most people. The reality for most people, and I know this because I sold these to people, they go into the store and they look at these two consoles. They're usually matched up right against each other in stores. You have a sentence. I need to buy an Xbox so I can play what? That's a sentence that it is their responsibility to answer that sentence.
mhm.
And most people, again, I totally disagree with him, most people ask them that question. I need an Xbox so I can play what? What's the answer right now?
Yeah.
There's plenty
Like
of answers on Nintendo. There's plenty of answers on
yeah.
Sony. They give you the games. Again, to think that you can't win or you can't at least compete by doing the things that the other two do makes no fucking sense. It makes zero sense. Like, let's go sports wise, all right? You think some of the shitty teams out there, or if we just had a good quarterback, that wouldn't matter. If we just have good players, we're not going to win. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Like,
yeah, no, that's literally like, oh, it's fine. They'll still buy tickets. Like who cares? Like even if we had an amazing team, the best team in America, that would sell people to want to go watch us. Like what?
That makes.
What do you mean? What?
I was on board with a lot of what he said, and I appreciate a lot of what he said until he made these comments, and I was like, I mean, you're a very smart guy, Mr. Phil Spencer. He's probably a lot smarter than I ever will be, but I just think he's completely and utterly wrong, and I hope that's not the grander idea behind Xbox and the way they're looking at this. I do agree with what he said here. They face planted. They lost the worst generation of loss, where everybody built their library. PlayStation and PS4 built their library, their Horizons, their God of Wars. They built this huge digital library of games that people can always go back to, because we're at a time now where I don't think we're ever going to have, PS3 to PS4 where there's no backwards compatibility. Everything's always going to be playable now. And so that I do agree when he said, we lost the worst generation to lose. I agree with that. But what are you going to do? Just wrap it up? If that's the case, there's a way out of this. Put Games Pass on PlayStation, become a publisher. You'll make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Quit making a box if you don't think making great games is going to win you. Not win. I don't ever think, honestly, they definitely can't win this generation. I think there's hope moving forward, but
even if, like, let's say theoretically, they get rid of the Xbox, you still need to sell Game Pass. And Game Pass, the biggest thing with Game Pass is its day ones. Yes, there's a lot of third party, but there's also a lot of first party, and a lot of people get Game Pass for, in my opinion, mostly for your first party.
yeah.
So that because those will always release day one because you own them, and they're kind of like Netflix, where Netflix will always have all these third party stuff, all these different movies and shows from different things.
People
but then
get
they have
Netflix
their Netflix originals.
Yeah,
And
Stranger
because
Things,
people people stick with Netflix because of their originals, not because of all of its other stuff. So it's kind of like you, even if they got rid of the Xbox, you still have to make good stuff to keep your Game Pass moving, which I clearly know. I mean it's pretty obvious by now. Game Pass is their big push, which is fine. Honestly, I'd much rather Game Pass probably prosper than the Xbox system at this point, because then, we'll get good games, and I kind of like that they're trying to go for everything. Heck, I have a PC now, so it doesn't bother me that much. I can play. I still have my Xbox if I want to play anything on it. I'm not going to get rid of it, but it's just like you gotta if you're gonna push only Game Pass, then at least you still got to do the same thing as pushing a system. You still need to make good
Yeah,
games.
there's a first
And
word there. It's called games. That's
yes,
what we're in this thing for. I may be a Sony fan. If Sony stops making great games, I'm not going to be a Sony fan. I don't care about the company. I don't really care how much money they're making. I love them because they make the games that I love the most. If they stop doing that, I will no longer be a Sony fan. Like, I just will move off onto other things. If Xbox is there for me, I'll go to Xbox. I'll go play Gears. I'll go play Halo. I'll go play whatever new they make. I would love to do that. If Sony's not making God of War and Uncharted and the list goes on, then I'll go play my game somewhere else. I play video games. I don't play consoles. I don't own an Xbox because when I ask myself that question, what do I need it for? I don't have a good answer. There's
I
not
mean,
a
literally,
there's not
they
a
can
game
look
that
at
I would play it
literally
for. Sorry.
they can look at one of their direct competitors right now, which is Nintendo, which had the same problem that they did with the Wii U. Wii U was an absolute like complete flop of a console. Um, and yet, why do you think people are buying the Nintendo Switch? They don't just get the Nintendo Switch because it is a Switch. Like, if there was no good games, no one would probably be getting a Switch right now. But because they make great games and they have this quality bar where they always try to hit the best quality that they possibly can with every game they release, that's why they're prospering and doing so damn good right now. I mean, that's why they're still selling like hotcakes. I mean, it is, I think, soon going to be the most. I don't know if it is. I don't know where it's at. It sells right now, but
It,
it's
it
up there with one of the top selling
yeah.
consoles of all
They
time.
they just
And
announced that it passed 125, so I think it's officially past PS4. I don't think it's going to
yeah,
climb to
two.
the PS2. That'd be amazing if it did, but I don't
Yeah,
think it'll get there. That's another 30 consoles. My screen is really red on
yeah.
my face, huh?
But yeah, like you literally look at them and look at them prosper now because they're making good games. That's what's pushing the Nintendo Switch. They can't just come out with a system and be like, well, I mean, we'll just push out whatever. People won't buy the console. So like you have to make good games. Like you gotta push them out. Like I don't know. I
Yeah,
really hope to God whatever he said in this doesn't connect with Starfield because I really want Starfield to be great. As
yeah.
an Xbox person, I love Xbox. I still have nostalgia with, the 360 days with me. Those were the days for me. Heck, even at the beginning of Xbox One, I still thought those release titles were fan freaking tastic. And it had me hyped for the entire rest of the generation. Like Dead Rising 3 and Rise were, I know Rise had its faults, but those two games blew me away for the beginning of the generation, and it had me very excited for the rest of it. And so I just hope Xbox can bring it back with this. I want Starfield to be the turning point, the thing that is going to turn Xbox to actually start pushing better games. I want it to kind of tell them like, hey, as you could tell, Starfield is actually selling consoles, or it's selling Game Pass a lot more. And I bet it will, because as soon as Starfield comes out, I guarantee Game Pass is going to skyrocket with people. Because instead of them having to buy the games, they could just go get Game Pass and boom. Or if they don't have a PC, they can now go get a Series S or a Series X and go play Starfield. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Starfield will be a seller. People now can't play Starfield on PlayStation. It's only Xbox and PC. It will be a seller. You have to kind of put all your faith into that game because that game has to do amazing. Because if it doesn't, it's kind of like the MCU right now. You're fucked up. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how do you recover if you mess up Starfield? Starfield
Yeah.
has to be good. It can't be mediocre. It can't be bad. It has to be good. Honestly, great. It has to be great. It
There's
just has to
another
be.
there's another quote here that kind of plays into what we're talking about. He goes on to say, I don't know what order all this is in, but his quotes. He goes, I know some people want to hold us up as being a better green version of what the blue guys do. And I'm just going to say there's not a win for Xbox there in staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off, do our own thing with Game Pass, with the stuff we do with the xCloud and the way we build our games. Yeah, what do you got to put on Game Pass? Fucking video games.
I know.
You can go off and do your own thing. They're clearly doing that. They are trying to be something different than the other two. Because I guess this isn't me. I guess they're telling us that they can't beat Sony and Nintendo and making better games. I don't care how good of a deal Game Pass is. If you can't build better games, it doesn't matter.
And the thing is,
in my eyes, I mean, it just doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
I don't care.
And they got good developers with them too. Like
they do.
They do. They really do. Like I don't
said,
think they're utilizing them enough because you have, well, now you bought Bethesda, but I mean, you had Forza with Playground Games, whatever. They are absolutely amazing at what they do. They are absolutely
Playground is the Horizon.
The Horizon. Yeah.
Turn 10 is Turn 10 is the regular Forza.
Both of those teams are absolutely amazing. Coalition that makes Gears of War, absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best with their like the way that they make their games look, with their the technicality and everything, especially. Probably one of the best at making Unreal Engine games, especially when it came to PC. Gears of War 5 ran insanely well on PC. It was actually that's an Unreal Engine 4 game. And it's just like you have good developers, and now you have Bethesda, where you're gonna have the people that made Doom Eternal, which is still easily one of the best optimized video games of all time out there. You have damn good talent right now. You just need to literally use it. Use it, you have all this support that you can give to these other games. Do it. Which I'm happy to at least, I guess I'm semi-happy to hear that he did say that they got early enough time to actually start supporting Starfield, which I'm gonna hope. I don't expect Starfield to be a flawless game at launch, but I do hope it is way better than a lot of games this year when it comes to its technical prowess. I want it to be really good.
I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think Starfield can be anything less than great. And while I don't think I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be a great game, mostly because it has to at this point in time now.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can afford anything less than great. Anything less than 8s, 9s.
Yeah.
They have to hit that quality bar.
They're not gonna beat Tears of the Kingdom. They're probably most likely not going to beat Spider-Man 2, but you could still be up there, and honestly, probably even make it into the Game of the Year nominations. So, hell, if you make it into the Game of the Year nominations, then you did something right.
Yeah.
So
they need Starfield. They need Starfield to be the answer to the question that I posed earlier. I need an Xbox so I can play Starfield.
Mm-hmm. Starfield's good, that is the thing to get an Xbox for.
And they have to hit it. And also, you were talking about how they've clearly not wanted to be a part of not being the ultra look over your shoulder type of owner. Maybe it's time to be a little bit more hands on, because I'm looking here. The initiative
definitely do need to be.
The initiative was founded in 2018. It's 2023. Their game's not coming out this year. That's 6-7 years. Maybe it's time to go in there and be like, let's get this shit figured out. Let's do this.
Yeah, or
you don't have to be an asshole about it. You don't have to go in there and be like, all this sucks, let's fix it. But maybe you need to get people in there. Matt Brody, I think he's the head of Xbox Game Studios, whereas Phil Spencer's the head of Xbox. Maybe you send Matt Brody in there to round all the studios and let's see where you're at. Where do you need help? What can we do as Xbox to help you finish this shit out and make it the best that it possibly can be? Like with Redfall, we talked about it. The performance of that game isn't even my biggest fault. I just don't think the game's good. I think it's a poorly designed game in a lot of aspects. So I don't know if there was a save for Redfall, but maybe you look at it 2 or 3 years ago when they bought Bethesda. Maybe you send Matt Brody in there, or Phil Spencer would be like, hey, let's do something different here. Let's design this something different. Give them the time to fix the game. You think Sony's not going into Santa Monica and being like, I don't exactly love that. Let's do something different there. And I'm not saying Sony's always right. Sony makes mistakes all the time. Shit, I forgot to put in the story. They just closed a studio that I actually love. We'll talk about that next week, I guess, because I forgot to put it in here. But they just closed studios that made Concrete Genie.
Really?
Yeah, I'm actually really upset about it. I don't know why.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, that's really surprising. I thought that game was. I watched you play it. I didn't play it myself.
I love Concrete Genie, but again,
it was kind of like the Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
But it was that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game, but that's not the reason why someone's going to go out and buy a PlayStation.
I think both. I really like that Xbox did that, and I kind of hope they keep doing that. They keep coming out with those little titles. I mean, they kind of have been with like Obsidian coming out with that. What was that one game?
Pentiment.
Pentiment, yeah, and a lot of people really loved it. I mean, it wasn't for everyone, but it was a smaller game. You know, a lot of people really liked that. I like that, and that's dumb that they got rid of that studio because Concrete Genie did look cool. I thought that was a really cool game.
Pentiment,
we're way off topic now.
Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, those are all great games. Everything I've heard about them says yes, they're fantastic games. No one's gonna go buy your console for that.
Oh no, yeah,
that's a sad truth. I wish it was different. I wish games like Cult of the Lamb. Let's say that's exclusive to Xbox. That's an amazing game that you and I both loved. I can't go up. I can't go up to Joe's grandpa and be like, "You need to buy your kid an Xbox so he can play Cult of the Lamb." That's not going to go. That's not how the world works. And I understand Xbox is trying to change things. They're trying to do their own way. Like again, maybe they looked at it and be like, "We just can't make those types of games." So they're trying to change things. But if you can't make those type of games, then just don't make games. We play video games. Like, it doesn't matter how we get them, whether they're through Game Pass or I pay $70 for it. I play video games. And if you can't make me the video games that are high quality that I want to play, then I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to go along with you. And for me, in my personal, that is the bottom hard line. And I think a lot of people think the same way that I do. They play Nintendo so they can play Mario, so they can play Zelda.
Like I have a Switch to play the new Zelda game. Like,
they don't.
If Zelda was on anything else, probably would be playing Zelda on something else. Yeah. But it is on Nintendo. So
before we move on, I do want to give him a shout out. I've been hopping on him. I just think he's completely and utterly dead wrong, and I hope a lot of people at Microsoft see that making games will help. May not solve everything, but it'll definitely help if you come out with great game after great game. I do kind of have to appreciate him for stepping up and taking some sort of blame for what Redfall was. That's on me. That's not on them. We support them. I do appreciate that, but I also think, you're kind of fronting in a way. Like, Arcane fucked up bad with this one. Like, yes, you can take the blame and say we weren't as hands-on as we should have been, and that's on you, but I don't really think you should take the blame for everything that Arcane did. Obviously, take it in yourself to fix your pipeline.
Yeah, even if Arcane was not helped or supported as much from Xbox, it is still on their own fault because they mismanaged this game. They've had years to make it. I mean, I don't know what exact date they started making it, but I'm going to assume it's around the time Prey came out.
I was going to say, Prey came out in 2017, so let's give them a year and a half for the DLC. So let's say the game went into full-scale production 2019. Let's say that. Rough estimate.
Yeah.
That's still 4 years to make a game.
Yeah, you still had 4 years to make the game, and you still messed it up. Like, you didn't manage your assets properly. You didn't use your employees, or you didn't, obviously you didn't test it. And from what I also heard in this interview, the mock reviewer, whatever they're going to call, they said it was great. But then,
they said,
so we're surprised it was as bad as it was. It's like, who the fuck is reviewing this game and saying
whoever,
it was great? Because
whoever you hired to do your mock reviews, don't ever hire them again.
Yeah, fire them.
Because he said in the interview that they scored it 10 points higher, and that was at the point in time where the game was at like a 65 on OpenCritic. By the way, it's now at a 58. It's at a 58.
Hey, at least DJ got the one this time with Zelda, by the way.
Doesn't matter at this point.
He got some points. Yeah, he lost a lot of points, but hey, he got some bonus.
So you're telling me this game mock reviewed, quick math, 15 to 16 points less or higher than what it actually scored? First of all, that company sucks ass. Don't ever hire
Uh,
them again. No one ever hire that company again because they clearly don't understand video games at all. But
But secondly, why would they even accept that? Wouldn't you want a higher quality? Like, oh, it's a 70.
yeah,
Then ship it. It's fine. That's the quality bar you want to hit is 70. Like you want to hit higher. I mean, I don't think anyone ever expected it to be a 10 out of 10 game, but I would at least expect an 8 or a 9
yeah.
from your mock reviewers.
Like
And to get a 70 and you're like, yeah, it's fine.
you think
It's a pretty good.
you think Nintendo is mock reviewing Tears of the Kingdom and they're like, oh yeah, it's like a 7 out of 10, and they're not and they're not sitting there like, yeah, let's go back to the drawing board. We're not releasing a 7 out of 10 Zelda game, so
something isn't right here, you know?
yeah,
Like
just there has to be a higher level. Like, I am still of the utmost belief that if you come out and you give us the God of Wars, you give us the Tears of the Kingdom, you give us those consistent years of high quality games, you can save this. You can right the ship. I do have to say, I honestly believe at this point in time, it's lucky that Xbox has Microsoft backing them. Because if they didn't, I don't know if we would have an Xbox right now.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah,
I don't think we definitely would because Xbox One was
it was
it
bad.
was a Wii U. And I'm not gonna lie, if Series doesn't get themselves fixed, it's gonna be 2 generations in a row. And heck, this may be the end of the Xbox itself.
I mean, and
Which I don't want to happen
right
because I
now,
want Xbox to get back to what they were. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll ever get back to the 360, but I do think they could get close. So
yeah, I mean, right now, Sony just announced they surpassed 38 million. Last we knew of Xbox was sitting around like 18. Like it's desperate
yeah.
times call for desperate measures at this point in time. Like
Mm-hmm.
it sucks honestly for Bethesda and Starfield because I think there is so much undeserved and undue pressure on Starfield. It should not have it should not have to buoy the entire ecosystem like it now needs to. So I think that's a little unfair, but that's the situation we find ourselves in right now where Starfield is your crutches at this point. Without Starfield, if Starfield does flop, things are going to get really, really bad. Now, I don't believe Xbox is going anywhere because they have Microsoft backing them. They have a lot of money behind them. But in terms of player base, in terms of engagement, in terms of your own fans, if Starfield comes out, and dude, even if it's like a 72 on OpenCritic, to me, that's not good.
That's not good. It needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to be in the high 80s to even possibly the low 90s, because it has to be there. It has to be. This is like the slimmest of slim thread of hope from all the Xbox people out there that they just want something to be good. And it's not even about a fanboy opinion thing. I want Xbox to do great. You know, I love all consoles now. I don't really have a bias against anything. I mean, heck, I have a PC now. I have everything. So, like, I'm cool with anything. You know, I like all of them. I like them all for their own things. And I want Xbox to do good again because I do believe they have potential.
They have the talent, yeah.
Series,
I want Xbox to do...
This series generation has just not been there yet. We need games. Heck, even Xbox One had more games by now than what Series did. And it's just like, dude, come on. Like, we need games. We need... Starfield could honestly make an identity for Xbox if it does insanely well. And honestly, I think, you know, Xbox was known for its bro games, as I would call it, like Halo,
your
Gears
bro
of
shooters
War,
and all that,
all that. I'm gonna call them the bro shooters, but that's what the 360. That's what made the 360 what it was. And so, what I think Xbox could be made into, and it always kind of has had that identity behind it, is Western RPGs and having the Bethesdas.
Well, they're trying to.
We
They
have
got Obsidian.
Avowed.
Yeah, they got Obsidian. They got the two
They
biggest
could
Western
make their
RPG
whole
producers.
identity into multiplayer and Western RPGs, and honestly, fully on board with that. That's great. Make an identity for yourself. I want that. I want that identity of where you're going to have some kind of game that makes Xbox itself. You know, kind of like how PlayStation is known for, well, a lot of people would say third-person action RPGs with a very hardcore narrative. That's
that's the thing.
That's pretty much what Sony is. You know, that's what their main thing is. That doesn't mean they don't make anything else but that, but they're basically known for that at this point. Switch is known for its like more kid games or Zelda in general and stuff like that. So like Xbox, you need something, and I think Western RPGs could be that. It could be that thing that you've needed this entire time. I mean, you technically have always done this your entire lives with Xbox Original being very heavily supporting of Bethesda. 360, they very heavily supported
Yeah, I mean,
Bethesda again. So
Oblivion launched exclusive
Bethesda,
to Xbox.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, literally make Western RPGs your thing. And Starfield, if you make it great, you've made an identity for yourself, and it will be a seller. Will it surpass PlayStation? No, it's going to be a long road. You are literally fighting a super high uphill battle at this point. But that doesn't mean you still can't do a great thing and still get close.
Yeah,
So, I
I
mean,
think
heck, PS3 came out of freaking nowhere and somehow outsold at 360 at the very end because of one game. So that's
360
all it takes.
360 still won that generation. I know
Oh
technically
no, it did. It
PS3
did win the
sold more,
generation,
but
but PS3 did sell more consoles, but that
yeah,
doesn't mean that it won the generation.
yeah.
Overall, PS3 was kind of a failure in the fans' perspective. But
But I mean, to
it's
me,
still
I still give Xbox credit for creating the PlayStation that I love so much because they
yeah.
beat the shit out of them for
Mm-hmm.
years at the launch of the 360. And Sony had to change. They recommitted. They're like, we're just going to make better games than you. And that's how we're going to beat you. And guess what, Xbox? They fucking won.
Mm-hmm.
They've been winning for 16 years now because
Mm-hmm.
they make better games than you. And for you to tell me that we're just not going to win if we make better games. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're in the gaming industry.
Like what he said is the same thing that EA did in the past, where they said single player games don't sell. Well, you've been proven wrong, EA, and just like Xbox, you'd be proven wrong, and Starfield does do insanely well.
And you want to know what's
that
funny?
will prove you wrong.
You want to know how EA saved themselves? They make single player games now, and they make damn good ones.
If Xbox comes out of Starfield and it's great, they're like,
yeah,
maybe
Wild
we do come
Hearts,
out with great
Star
games.
Wars, some of the EA original games. Guess what? You were fucking wrong. Single player games still matter, and it's the backbone of the industry. Yes, multiplayer games sell a lot more, and you can make a lot more money. But over the grand scheme of things, you make these high quality AAA games. It doesn't even have to be single player or multiplayer. If you just make high quality games, people are going to be there. People are going to buy your console. You know, it may be a different time than what it was in the 360, but people still play games to play games.
I mean, you want to hear something sad about this whole thing that kind of brings it all around, and this is something personal. My brother straight up told me today, there hasn't been really a lot of games on Xbox. I think I'm going to sell it. That right there is the true feeling of like, that shows you Xbox, you really need to get your shit together, because you really need to have this be the game. It has to be this year. It has to be this year. This has to be the year. This showcase I've ever been coming up with. You better have the best damn showcase you've ever had in your life, because this needs to be the year of Xbox. They have so much opening right now. I mean, yes, you're competing against some damn big contenders this year with, we had Resident Evil 4 Remake, we had Zelda, we're going to have Spider-Man 2 towards the end of this year. But Xbox has so much open space this year to come out with all these exclusives. So I'm going to hope, and we're going to be talking about soon about their release date on their showcase and all that. You need to showcase all these games. You need to actually come out with a lot of games this year. I'm not expecting like 20 exclusive games this year. If you did,
that'd be great.
Props. I would literally, my mind would be blown. But you do need to come out with a couple more than just Starfield. And I know we have Forza, but I don't think that, again, Forza isn't a seller. And that's great. I know Forza is going to be amazing. I know it's going to be solid. But again, that's not what people want right now. They want something original. So I hope either Obsidian has something up their sleeve, either State of Decay developers have something up their sleeve, something. They need to do more than just Starfield this year. But I do also think Starfield needs to be that game.
Well, it has to be, yeah.
So.
It's at the point in time that it has to be. And we are going to talk about the showcase here in a little bit, but I do think, it is time to stop the whole everything you see is going to come out in the next 12 months. Because you said that 2 years ago, and we still don't have Starfield in our hands. So it's time to stop that. Give us the now, give us the give us the upcoming, and then give us the future. It is
Yeah, and then
time.
no more of these cinematic trailers of games that are clearly not even started in development.
Well,
Like
no, I'm actually
none of
saying
that
the
crap.
opposite thing. I think you give us the now, you give us the Starfield, you give us the things that are coming out shortly, but I think it's now time to open up the can. Let us know what's coming in 2025. Give Xbox people something to look forward to. Give them something to reach for. Like, give them, here's what we are, here's what we're doing, here's what you're going to get over the next 2 to 3 years. This is why you need to buy us now and get into this ecosystem now. I think it's time to stop holding back so much. Time to stop. Here's the next 3 months of content. Here's the next 6 months of content. Because half of those games are going to be delayed anyway. Here's the next years of Xbox. Here's what we're building to. Here's what you've been waiting for. Here it is. Here's Perfect Dark. I know you're not excited about that, but I am, so I'm gonna keep saying it. Here's the next.
As long as it's a great game, I'm excited because I just want Xbox to do good. Even if I don't care about the game, I want their games to be great. I mainly am more excited for Starfield right now, but I do. Why is my PC freaking out right now? Calm down.
Anyway,
buddy.
I just think it's time to open up the can. Even if, yes, we're not gonna play it for 2 to 3 years. At this point, you need to tell people why you need an Xbox. You need to answer that question. And if you don't answer that question, it's going to be a lot of questions thrown at you, whether you know what the hell you're doing or not.
Yeah,
So,
and we don't need to see another one of these podcasts, please. Like, you need to stop saying sorry and just
fix it.
Give us something.
Like
I don't want to keep
talking
hearing,
about.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Have you ever seen the South Park episode, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing.
Pretty much what this is.
Here's one of the things that kind of tickled me a little bit. He keeps saying, oh, we need to improve our pipeline. We need to fix this pipeline. You bought these studios 6 years ago. The pipeline should be fixed.
Yeah, you should have a bunch of games lined up by now.
Yeah.
Like, it's been years. You've had a lot of these games announced, like, way freaking back. Like, we still have State of Decay 3 and all that. Like, where are these? Like, again, you have all these games that have been worked on in the background. What have they been doing all these years? We need something. Show us something. Show us some gameplay. Because gameplay would also really get people's hyped up. They would know that it's real. I mean, I guess it isn't always going to get us hyped up because we have a certain game called Scalebound that we all seen gameplay of.
Fuck Scalebound.
Dude. That game should have been. That should have released. That game was so good looking. That could have been another game that would have boosted Xbox One because I was really hyped for that game.
Me too.
And then it just nothing.
A dragon game? Are you kidding me? An open world Dragon Rider game?
It was badass too. I loved the headphones and all that. Like it was so unique and cool, and it was like, yeah, that looks so cool.
But who knows? Like, no. I mean, it was platinum. It could have been one of their stinkers,
true.
Or it could have been
one game.
Babylon's Fall.
It could have been
it could have been Babylon's Fall, but it also could have been, Nier Automata. It could have been that. True. Well, I guess we'll never know. All right, let's stop on this. Phil Spencer. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. So, yeah, please. Honestly, I think you're a great person, but I mean, if you can't do better in the next year or so, it might be time for you to let someone else try. Just saying. But I do think he's done a good job with, at least bringing some sort of goodwill back to Xbox. But now it's time to deliver your promises. It's time to give us the games. You fixed the whole idea of, Xbox One and, your whole entertainment stuff. You fixed that. Now it's time to deliver on your video games. All right. Let's move on now. That was a long conversation, but a good conversation. Yeah, I very much enjoyed that. I had a lot to say, and I was very angry with him after he said that about games because we play fucking video games. I actually
didn't even hear that section, so I'm kind of happy I know that now because I had no idea that was a thing.
We play fucking video games.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
All right. Speaking of Nintendo versus the Switch 2, they've once again come out and said, guys, it's not happening. So, as reported by Bloomberg, Nintendo president Shuntaro Furuwaka, there you go, that's his name, explained during an investor's presentation that it isn't considering new hardware in the 2023-2024 financial year. This means that Nintendo's next home console won't be released until late April 2024 at the earliest, which is actually what I predicted. So, this comes despite a decline in Switch sales. The console sold close to 18 million units in the last fiscal year, down from 23 million units the year before and 28 million the year before that. Nintendo, however, isn't looking to rush a new console out to tackle this decline, though, as it has forecasted another drop for the upcoming year. He says sustaining the Switch sales momentum will be difficult in its 7 year. Our goal of selling 15 million units this financial year is a bit of a stretch, but we will do our best to bolster demand going into the holiday season so that we can achieve the goal. Rumors surrounding the new console have been circulating for years now, with even analysts unsure if Nintendo was planning to release the Switch 2 as early as 2021. The new console was said to offer boosted graphics akin to the PS4 and its Pro models, but there was no official information regarding the next piece of Nintendo hardware yet. In the meantime, though, never mind, I'm not going to read that because that's a IGN plug. So yeah, still not getting it.
I definitely agree it's going to be like a next year kind of thing, like towards the end of the year. I never expected this year. I don't know why people ever expected it this year.
I think things were still. I think people were still holding on to. It was coming out with Zelda.
Oh yeah, I mean that's fair because I mean again, well, we had Breath of the Wild that came out, but I just didn't think it was going to come out this year. But I do know for sure it's going to come out next year, and I still think by the end of this year it's going to be announced. The new system announced at least.
Okay, so never
Or
mind.
they're gonna.
My prediction was for March of 2024. The new console will come out. So I guess I'm wrong. Whatever.
I
So
still also feel like they have something up their sleeve towards the end of this year, but I wonder what it is.
now,
But
credit where
I don't
credit's
know.
due. I mean, we've been talking how there needs to be a new Switch and all that. If you look at console generations as a whole,
Mhm.
PS4 and Xbox One 7 years. You know,
Yeah,
I guess never mind. It'll be 7 years in 2024. So yeah, that kind of aligns because PS3 to 4 was 8 years, I think. So yeah,
yeah,
it's time. But I
it
think this is
is.
different because it is just, while yes, Zelda is an incredibly optimized game and it runs great, that is the exception. That's not the
Yeah,
rule anymore. I still think, you need to seriously look into your pipeline and be like, we are hand capping developers with what could Tears of the Kingdom be on PS4 on PS5? I still think there is a handicap to your development studios with hardware that at this point is almost a decade old now because the
I
chipset and
think the.
everything. Sorry, go ahead.
I think no, sorry. I think the biggest game that has been known to have a handicap, like Breath of the Wild, was still 30 FPS, so it's like that's not as much of a handicap. But I think the bigger handicap was like Bayonetta 3, for example, where in technicality it looks worse in some ways than Bayonetta 2 because they upped what they did with Bayonetta 2, but the Switch hardware is weaker, and I guess you could say Bayonetta 3 was too big for Switch, kind of thing. Like that's one game that you clearly could tell that they wanted to hit something with it. And yes, they still hit that 60 FPS mark, which is still mind-boggling, but you could tell that there's a lot of graphical things that they had to bring down in order to hit that. Compared to like the beginning of this generation where they were nailing it with like Mario Odyssey and
Yeah.
Smash and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I know that wasn't new, but there's so many other
Still,
things that they hit with
still
60
haven't gotten a new
FPS.
Mario Kart, which is
They
mind blowing to me.
will make another one because they're like, damn, Mario Kart 8's doing very well. Let's just add more choruses to it. Why not? I mean, hell, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It works. It's all good. So
All right.
I don't.
My next story is a Logan story. He likes hardware. He likes mobile hardware, so he wanted to bring this up. So, Mr. Birdman, introduce your story. Take it away.
So I put the story after this because I thought it was perfect. That's why I moved it up here. So speaking of upgrades to hardware, ASUS ROG Ally was announced this week, and there are two different versions with surprisingly low prices. Um, is this the end of the Steam Deck?
No.
So no, absolutely not. But I found this to be really fascinating. I've been keeping up a little bit with like the PC handheld market and everything, and a lot of them have been, to say the least, not great. I think Steam Deck is still one of the best ones out there. I still think they are easily the better one out of them. But ASUS out of nowhere decided, you know what? We could do that. We could do that, and we'll make it stronger. And we're like, holy shit! So the ROG Ally, which I wish I could figure out the two different names on their website.
So,
Um,
well, I don't know about the
there's
names,
a
but I have them.
RC71L. Wait, let me see. Does it have it under it?
So I
I
added
hate
another
how they named
thing.
it.
I added another website that
Oh,
actually
I got
gives
it
you the
now.
spec sheet. So
I got it now. So they had I don't think that's the name of them. Well, whatever. So
this is going good.
I really wish I could tell you the names of them. They don't really do a good job of explaining because I know there's two different ones. Well, they're coming out with two different models. Okay, so one of them was what was it? It was $500, and their second one, which is a more powerful one, is $700. Um, and the two different APUs that they're using. So there's one that's using the AMD Ryzen Z1, and then there's one that has the Z1 Extreme.
Yeah, which I
Um,
have the whole spec sheet here. It's built on a 4 nanometer process, which if you don't know anything, it just means it's really small and they can pack a lot into it. 8 cores, 16 threads, so comparable to like a Ryzen 7. The new RDNA 3 graphics chips, so like the Radeon 700 series or 7000 series. A lot of RAM, decent size NVMe, big screen, 1080p, 120 hertz. If this thing's good, this thing,
okay,
it has the specs. I'll say that. The spec sheet's
yeah. So
impressive.
yeah, so okay, so soon. I don't know what the release date for this one specifically was, but their weaker one, which is the cheaper one, is releasing in quarter
Q3.
three of 2023, and that's going to have 6 cores and 12 threads. That is the AMD Z1 variant, but the
Yes. So
Z1 Extreme variant is the one that's releasing sooner, and that's the $700
yes.
one.
So a good
What's
desktop comparison is something like 6 core 12 threads is like the Ryzen 5, and 8 core 16 threads like the Ryzen 7. So that's a good comparison. Even though I don't think those are 1-to-1, obviously, because like mobile components can't beat what desktop components can. But those are kind of the comparisons we're talking about. Excuse me.
So what's so impressive about this that I found fascinating compared to a lot of these other PC ones is like, for example, the A Neo, it's like $1,000, and it's only slightly more powerful than like the Steam Deck, for example. And the Steam Deck has just been so good because it's with a big business, which is Steam itself, and they can bring the price lower than most of them because they can work under losses, but because they're getting so many game sales from it, they're technically making profit from it. So it ends up working out for them, kind of like how consoles usually work. So a lot of these other PC handhelds that come out, they're always very pricey. They're like in $1,000. Yes, they're more powerful, but they're almost double the price, and it's really not worth it in my opinion. And so that's usually for like the people that are like super in, like they have the money to spend and they'll spend $1,000 on it. What's so surprising about this is that they are actively competing against Steam Deck with this, which is very surprising. I really did not expect this thing to be as low of a price as it is. I know $700 sounds like a lot, but you're getting more than double the power of a Steam Deck in this thing, and there's a lot more bonuses with it. For example, it has a 1080p 120 hertz display, which, by the way, what the Steam Deck has is a 800p 60 hertz IPS display. They're both IPS, um, but ASUS actually has a higher color depth IPS depth, yeah, got you. Screen. But it also has VRR put into it, and it has a lot more impressive things. It actually also supposedly has a pretty much equal sound system built in, because in my opinion, Steam Deck actually has an insanely good sound system built into it. It actually sounds really good. I mean, especially compared to a Steam Deck or even the OLED one I have, it still sounds way better than those. And this supposedly has the same thing. And what's so impressive is, again, it's like it's double the performance of what a Steam Deck is. It has the exact same battery in it. With a, what is it? I think it's a 40 something. I can't remember what it was. I don't have the exact specs of it. I wish I could see that, but it doesn't have it on here. But it has the same battery as the Steam Deck in it. And but the big difference is this one runs off of strictly Windows, whereas Steam runs off of its own OS. And it's more Linux based, where this one's more Windows 11 based. So I guess the bonus with this is because it's out of the box Windows 11, you can use anything and play any game. Whereas Steam Deck has its problems where, since it's Linux based, certain games don't run on it, or especially certain multiplayer games won't allow it because of its anti-cheat software, which is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is, you know. But yeah, this thing. So, like, for example, and what's even more crazy about it is the most expensive model of the Steam Deck, which is about $650, I believe.
$699.
That
$649. Sorry.
$699.
$649. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
My bad.
and that is a 512 gigabyte NVMe. Whereas both of these devices that they're coming out with, both have a 512, and they're like this one is, again, $699, and it's only $50 more than a Steam Deck. That's pretty damn insane. So not as only double as powerful, it has a better screen built in, as same sound system, as the same amount of space with the 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. It has all this, and it's directly competing with the Steam Deck, and it's kind of gonna be an interesting year now with that, because I'm very curious to see more about this. I still feel like I haven't seen a lot with the ROG Ally. Some people I've watched clearly don't even know the difference between the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck, whereas people said like you can't even use Netflix on the Steam Deck, but you can. So I some of these videos I watched on this, I'm like, this guy clearly doesn't know anything about a Steam Deck. So, but I just found this very fascinating because this is an actual good competitor for Steam Deck, whereas Neo was never really a good competitor against them. But surprisingly, ASUS came out of nowhere on, by the way, April 4th to announce this, and it ended up being a real thing. And they're coming out with two different versions of it, and it's going to be well, Steam has a lot to fight against with this thing, because this thing is it's pretty amazing from what I can tell. It's got a lot going for it. The specs are great. I mean, heck, you could play what was it? You could play Metro Exodus on this thing at 98 FPS on a handheld.
That's impressive.
That's stupid.
That's impressive.
So yeah, like this thing, all I'm saying is PC handhelds have really come a long way, and it's insane that we are getting up close to console, like even close to, I don't know how close this is to modern consoles. It definitely isn't yet, but it is damn close, and you can play this handheld. And even more exciting and kind of dumb, but also funny, they have this little adapter on there where you could buy these ASUS things where it has external GPU. So it has like the RX 6800 XT, I believe, or something like that, or it was 7800 or whatever, and then it has the RTX 4090. You could buy these two things and you can connect it to a display, and basically have a desktop PC with you on all, like, as much as obviously if you have $2,000 extra dollars to spend, but you know but it's still, it's cool, because if you really want extra performance or you don't want to own like a desktop PC like I do, you could just straight up buy this thing, play games whenever you want, and then when you're at home and maybe you want to use this as an actual computer or just to play your games at a higher FPS with a higher resolution, you could buy these little what is it? These external GPUs, put them in there and make it even stronger.
They're called GPU docks.
Yeah, GPU, and it's built into this thing, and that's kind of cool, you know. Like that's awesome. It's kind of like, well, pretty much how like the Switch is. Whereas like the Steam Deck, when you plug it in, I mean, you don't need this. By the way, I know I want to explain this real quick. You don't need this to put it into an external display. But I'm kind of comparing this to the Switch, where the fact you could buy these external GPU things, and then you could basically make it like a dock at your house. You could have that as your dock, have it into your display, and then whenever you're home with this ASUS ROG Ally, you can come home, plug it in, and play your games, and it'll be not only at a higher FPS, but it'll be on your display. Like it's kind of cool. And I gotta say, they really are coming out of nowhere with this, and I bet you Steam Deck is sweating right now. I don't think this is the end of the Steam Deck because I do still think Steam Deck does do some things that I prefer still. I do think Steam Deck does a better job of making what I would consider kind of like a console feel to it, whereas this is all Windows, so it still has those problems where it's still a piece. It's more of a PC than what Steam Deck is. Like Steam Deck, yes, you can use it as a PC. Heck, you can even still put Windows on it, so I guess you could kind of have sort of the same experience as this. Um, but it's just a lot more simple, I would say, with the Steam Deck, whereas this is a little bit more for those PC people out there. So I like both of them. I am very happy to see that this is a good competitor against Steam Deck. Maybe hopefully in their next iteration they'll blow this one out of the water and it'll be a good little competition. Because I mean, at first it was just Steam Deck versus Switch, which obviously Switch is demolishing, but Switch is a little bit different than Steam Deck. But now we got Switch, Steam Deck, and we have the ASUS ROG Ally. And it's an impressive little device. And I'm kind of blown away by it. And I'm very happy to see that there is another very good PC handheld out there. And I bet you, by the way, this thing is going to sell out immediately. So
Yeah, probably.
get ready for those scalpers, people, because you ain't going to probably be getting this for a while. So
Yeah. It's a cool little device. I'll be definitely pay attention to old Linus when he talks about it. So
he already has it out.
Oh, I'll go watch that
Yeah,
after the show.
watch it. Yeah.
So, all right. Our next news story, number 4. Speaking of Starfield has had its ESRB rating revealed, and it includes some neat little tidbits. So it was recently discovered that the ESRB rating for Starfield is set to rated M for mature. Duh. And in the summary breakdown, the rating itself, several key pieces of information were revealed, from a brief overview of weapons and sequences to a mention of post-sex dialogue. The ESRB rating allows us another tiny tidbit of information regarding Bethesda's upcoming spacefaring epic. Obviously, it's one of the most highly anticipated game of the year, and it makes sense that every snippet of information leaves fans hungry for more. Several weeks ago, the Australian I'm having troubles. The Australian rating for the game emerged, and it seemed to suggest there would be no sex scenes present in the game, but ESRB's rating may have changed that. In the summary that was provided to Insider Gaming by the ESRB, the entire story is laid out before the eyes of prospective players. It's written that this is an open-world role-playing game that sees players assume control of a miner tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy. Like Fallout, Starfield will feature a range of weapons, both traditional and futuristic, with laser weapons, axes, guns, and explosives being featured in the game. In the words of the ESRB, combat is fast-paced and bloody as well. It also revealed, though, that there will be some kind of romance scenes mechanics in the game, with post-sex dialogue being mentioned. These intimate moments will follow a system put in place by the Fallout games, it seems. By that, we mean there's nothing so graphic to be seen, but the entire situation is wrapped up in humor and one-liners such as this. This is a direct quote from the SB in the game. "I'm all for getting a little weird, but next time, let's try it without the jetpacks." So, there you go.
Jetpack sex.
Jetpack sex in Skyfall. What the...
So
in
so
Starfield.
You can have sex in while up in the air.
Honestly, that sounds kind of hot. I'm just saying.
Like, do it as a future thing. Holy shit!
You ever done anything with like sex swings and all that? I had one girl that was into that. That's
really
a story from another time.
That's an off podcast story.
Yeah. I don't want to reveal the name of the person, obviously. But.
That is a funny tagline right there. Jetpack sex.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's cool.
Dude, Starfield's going to get kinky. That's all I got to say. Damn.
I'm excited. I've been excited for Starfield for a long time. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm curious. I'm very excited because it'll be a game both me and you'll be playing. So we'll probably both be playing on a PC. So I most likely will be playing on PC.
I don't have another option. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to play it on PC.
But the thing that'll be exciting is now I have this PC. I'm going to probably run it as a higher thing anyway. So I'd rather play it on my PC.
I'm going to run it at 720p probably.
My Xbox is collecting dust over here. I'm going to download it on there just to see what it looks like because I am kind of curious. But
apparently so a lot of people's Xboxes. So
yeah. We already talked about that. So, all right. I'm ready for the next story. If you are.
All right. Number 5. And maybe good news, maybe bad news. I guess we'll talk about it. Call of Duty has seen another leak. By the way, if you could tell by the links, I've very much been reading Insider Gaming a lot more. So
That's fair.
yeah, I like them. They make good stories, and I think they're good. So, Insider Gaming sources have revealed that Call of Duty 2023 will have its reveal at the beginning of August, although details are still slim on what the reveal entails. It's understood that the game will be revealed just like some of recent predecessors by way of in-game events, yada yada yada. The current date penciled in for the reveal is August 1st, which falls on a Tuesday. The news implies that we're unlikely to see Call of Duty 2023 news at this year's rumored PlayStation Showcase this month. Let's hope that happens. I can't wait. It's still unclear on what exactly Call of Duty 2023 will be named, but it's widely reported that the game is essentially a continuation of Modern Warfare 2. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier had previously revealed that the game will be developed by Sledgehammer Games. Several sources also corroborated Call of Duty 2023's key dates. Insider Gaming. There's other stories out there saying this is going to be Modern Warfare 3, and I'm just saying, it seems a little too quick in my eyes.
Yeah, way too quick.
I don't know what Activision's doing over there. I thought we were going to get 2 years of content. And apparently there's another rumor that this is going to come with its own Warzone map, its own zombie modes developed by Treyarch, single player developed by Sledgehammer. And I'm like, what are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, I don't like this, like I honestly would much rather them just do another year. Maybe if you want to add story to it, maybe add like a little bonus purchase, where you can get like the second part of the story with some cosmetics and then, just boom.
Yeah,
There you go.
give us a setup for Modern Warfare 3. And
Yeah.
then, in a couple years when Infinity Ward's ready to go, give us Modern Warfare 3. Don't give us immediately the game.
I'm kind of surprised though that supposedly down here on their key dates, they're still gonna be releasing on the last gen consoles. How, man? Like, you gotta be moving away by now. I mean, I guess it is the exact same engine, so they probably don't even have to do much. So I guess that's fair because they're probably definitely not upgrading anything with this next game. So I guess it is fair to come out with it since it is just going to be the sequel, but still, man, like
But I'm just confused. Like,
I
what?
honestly would much rather them just take a break. Like that's the whole point of this. You're not giving them a break. You're basically lying to us. You never were going to take a break this year. You're just going to do this thing. Also, why does my light look so much more blue?
It's very
very
blue.
blue right now. What the hell is going on?
Also,
Okay, well,
I
whatever.
just say,
I'm gonna look like a Smurf for a little bit.
why make Sledgehammer do it? Have them do their own thing.
Yeah, I thought they were making Advanced Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Why about that?
Why make Sledgehammer make Modern Warfare 3? Or at least, if it... My idea is this is probably just going to be like a single player DLC type thing. Well, I guess not DLC. A single player continuation. But from all the rumors, all the leaks, this is another full-fledged Call of Duty. And it's like, one, yes, you kind of lied. You said there wasn't going to be one. Then you said there was going to be one. And now it's not even Sledgehammer's own original idea. You just told them to make Modern Warfare 3. Oh my God. There you go.
Don't worry.
Right
I'm
like
changing
that.
my lighting.
There you go.
I know. That was really orange.
It might have been when you punched it earlier. I don't know. But
Probably.
yeah, I don't get this. I don't like this. Not only the fact that they said that this wasn't going to happen and now it is happening, they're afraid that if they skip a year, Call of Duty's never going to sell again. News out, Call of Duty's never not going to sell. So
I know.
You can make the shittiest game ever.
Just continue development on this game, and honestly, people will probably be happy with that. I guess there are some people that don't like this new Call of Duty, but
there's a lot of people.
I don't know.
Those are all
I'm sure
YouTube
that it's
people.
always going to be that split community, but it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get this. I don't like this.
I'm not excited for this because I would much rather them just continue in MW2. I honestly, I'm kind of tired of this year development thing. I'd rather them continue things with it and make things more interesting, and maybe have Call of Duty last a little longer than just a year. It's just it's honestly getting tiresome because like I feel like I have to wait. Like I get a crappy Call of Duty, then I gotta wait to the next year, and maybe it's okay, and then maybe the next year after that it's really great. And then, maybe it's crappy the next year. It's like, just, I don't know, give them time. Give them like another year. Give us maybe story DLC. Maybe people will purchase that. But I guess then you're not selling the full price tag, and then you're not selling a new multiplayer, which, by the way, I already know what this is going to do. Let me guess. It's going to split the community again. We're going to have Mod for 2, and then you're going to split the community, and everyone's going to move to Mod for 3. and you're gonna redo all the multiplayer maps. You're gonna redo all this bullcrap again. I don't want to deal with this again.
And
I
then they
I
have
want MWIII 2 to keep going. I like MWIII 2. It's so
and
dumb.
and then they have Treyarch making the zombies. It's like, why don't you just let them make their own game?
Yeah, like
People
let
will
them
get
work on the new
yeah.
whatever Black Ops or whatever.
And I also
So
heard that
dumb.
it's an Outbreak version and it's not a round base zombies, which I think a lot of people want the return of the round based
I
zombies.
liked what Cold War did because I like that they had this split. I like the new Outbreak mode. I don't like in Vanguard. I haven't played Vanguard, but that wasn't Outbreak. That was garbage. Outbreak was way better
I don't think
in
that was the
Cold
name of
War.
it, but all right.
It was pretty much garbage. But Cold War, I think, really did a good job with zombies, in my opinion. I know not everybody will agree with that because it didn't have the Easter eggs and it wasn't super Easter eggs and stuff. Like, I don't play zombies for Easter eggs. I'm sorry, but not everyone in the zombie community is about Easter eggs. That's why Black Ops 3 at the beginning split the zombie community because literally Black Ops 3 focused so hard on Easter eggs that everyone gave up. That's why that first map, when they first came out with it, the shadow thing, everyone basically gave up on zombies at that point because they're like, dude, this is way too difficult and it's more focused on Easter egg hunts than it is about the actual core zombies mode. And that's why I like Cold War. Cold War was great. It focused on surviving waves, having fun, and that's what it's all about. And then they added Easter eggs as a side thing because that's how it started and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be the main focus of zombies. And so that's why I like Outbreak too. Outbreak was just something different. It was unique. It was fun. I was obsessed with Outbreak. I played the shit out of freaking Outbreak. Outbreak is so good on Cold War. I love that mode. And then Vanguard came out and they made a really crappy version of Outbreak, and probably everyone assumes that's what Outbreak is. It's not. Vanguard is garbage, but literally Cold War knew what they were
I
doing.
mean,
And
isn't it
I
Treyarch's
honestly just
turn?
want, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, because
because
you
it
had
was
Cold
Treyarch,
War,
then yeah, it was Cold War. That
and,
was Treyarch, and then we had Vanguard, which was Sledgehammer,
and
and
then
then
Infinity
we
War.
have Infinity War for Infinity.
Ward.
No, God damn it! Sorry, not for two for Infinity Ward. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I got
Like
mixed up. I was thinking Infinite Warfare again.
things have gotten so jumbled at this point in time. Like I think all three of these developers make the games all the time. Like
Well, yeah, they're all.
You got Sledgehammer making the single player. Then you got Treyarch making the zombies, and then Infinity Ward is doing whatever they are. Then Raven's
Well, you
working
can
on Warzone. It's like, oh my fucking god, this
and
is so confusing.
you can clearly tell that like they don't have enough time to make their next games, that they have to have all these other studios helping, which was the point of this year supposed to be a break, because then it gives them time to work on their games. That's why these past two games have had struggles where Cold War had to have Raven something help
Raven
with
Software, yeah.
making Ravensoft. They're the one who helped make the story for that game. And then I'm pretty sure Vanguard had to have Treyarch, which probably last minute clearly had to work on their zombies mode and all that. So it's like that's the point of this year. This year is supposed to be that break so that they can work on their projects and don't have to split off their groups to make these other games. Like that's the whole point. But no, clearly they're just doing the same thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's dumb.
I don't know.
That's a whole nother rant
I do
there.
like Modern Warfare though, so I'm still playing it.
I do. I
I still
like
like it.
Mafia 2. I think it's easily
Wrong
one of the
button.
better multiplayers I've played in a long while, and
A lot of people hate it, and I don't understand.
I don't
Everyone's
either.
really mad about SBM because good players really want to shit on bad
I
players,
feel
and
like it actually hasn't been that bad recently,
I
so
never thought it was. If I'm
maybe it's
being
also
honest.
because I'm playing with you and it's going off
Wow,
of your
that's fucking rude. You dick.
and Shogun.
I hold my
But
own.
I'm just kidding. I played matches without you, and it's not been, it actually hasn't been that bad,
I just don't
surprisingly.
understand this
So
idea of like, oh, I'm a great player, so I don't want to play with other great players. I want to shit on the people who aren't very good at the game.
it's
That's
more like it's not really you playing with great players. It's more like you do good in one match because you're lucky, and then the next match they put you against literally CDL freaking pro league players where they're
see,
like
I never
literally
felt
jumping
that though.
around.
I guess I
Well,
suck. So
well maybe it's just because like I'm gonna say I'm decent at the game. Anyways, you say I'm great. And
better
then
than
I'll
me.
play against people that literally will fucking just jump around the map doing the most crazy shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to play against you people. I'm just trying to chill and have a good time.
Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
understand why people. I
What do you
know.
mean by
Well, play
you
Call of
people?
Duty. You people.
Just give me shit.
But yeah.
All right,
So yeah,
we'll see. Who the hell knows what
I
Call of
just
Duty's
don't. I'm
gonna
not
do?
really happy about this because I don't want Mod for 3, and I honestly don't think I'm gonna get a day one. I don't want to. I don't want to buy another Call of Duty this year. I wanted you to take a break and just kind of focus on what you have right now.
Well, you told us you're gonna take a break, you
But
bastards.
they didn't. Clearly, that's
Hmm.
a lie.
Can't miss out on that money, man. All right, speaking of Xbox Game Showcase, the time and date for the showcase has been officially locked in. It was earlier reported, but now it's official. Microsoft has announced that a new Xbox Game Showcase will be live streamed this June and will once again include reveals of upcoming games from both first and third party studios. In addition, there will also be a Starfield Direct, a whole new show dedicated to a deep dive on Bethesda's upcoming space-faring RPG. As detailed on the Xbox Wire blog, the Xbox Game Showcase will be live streamed on Sunday, June 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So 8 a.m. for us. No, 2 p.m. for us. I can't think. Said no specific developers or games have been teased, but naturally, whatever is shown will be our first look at what's coming for Xbox, PC, and Game Pass in the future. Xbox Tweets has one line. Spoiler alert, we'll be talking about games. Well, let's fucking hope so.
Did you guys just say games so bad? Spoiler alert.
We're gonna go back to talking about entertainment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we
All
already
in one system.
talked about when we were doing the whole Phil Spencer thing. Like for me, this has to be the big one. This has to be the blowout. You have to tell us what's coming. You know, no more of here's what's coming. Then for the rest of the year, I don't want to hear that. Tell me why I need to buy an Xbox in the next couple years. Tell me what's coming. Show me all the stuff you've been working on for 6 years now. Let us know. I mean, we've been hearing a lot of bad stories. Xbox has been in the news for a lot of bad stuff. We heard that, Playground kind of had to restart a little bit or rethink what's going on with Fable. There's been infinitely bad stories about what's going on with the Initiative and Perfect Dark. It's like, let us know. Tell us something. Like, because if these things aren't ready yet, what are you doing? What are you spending your money on? I want to point out, people, Star Wars Jedi Survivor may be kind of, it's not broken, it's lacking in certain aspects. They made the game in 3.5 years. Microsoft, you can do it. Make your fucking games. I'm tired of waiting.
Me too.
And it makes me question, like, it appears that the deal will go through. We don't talk about the APK deal because it's annoying to talk about. But at this point, like, why do I want Xbox to run Activision? Why do I want them making Call of Duty?
I know.
I could say that a couple years ago. I had hoped that they may fix some stuff, but at this point, I'm like, maybe they're better off on their own. Like,
yeah,
maybe they're better off figuring their own shit out. So, and I still have hope. All this criticism, all this, hate, as some people would call it, I still have hope that they know what they're doing. Not a lot of hope, but it's still there somewhat.
Slim bit of hope, right?
What do you think? Yeah. We'll definitely do a predictions. We're definitely going to do a live reaction to this and the PlayStation 1 when it comes out. I can't wait for both of these, but what do you think about all this, man? Are you ready for them to blow it out? Please show me Avowed. Please.
Something. I just want something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a big surprise, something you've never even showed us before. Something. Give us something. And it better be something that is coming out very soon, not 5 years from now. I want to see something visibly. I want to see either gameplay, hopefully gameplay. I'd rather gameplay than cinematic trailers. Please God, get rid of the cinematic trailers. I don't want to see them anymore. Great. They look great. That doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't show me what the game is. I just want to see games. And as I said, spoiler alert, games, but like I better not just see Starfield and Forza. That better not be the only two things I see. There better be more, and there better be gameplay, and there better be actual set in stone either release dates or a very close release year. So that's what I'm hoping for.
All right. Well, we'll sit down and do our predictions closer to the show, and we will live react to it. So look forward to that, and look forward to everything that Microsoft has to show us. Hopefully, it's good. All right. Let's run through some of these other ones. Game Freak, the makers behind the popular, almost at PlayStation, Pokemon games, has announced a brand new IP that they're working on in conjunction with the Private Division. Private Division, a publishing label of Take-Two Interactive Software, has announced a partnership with Game Freak to publish a new title. The new title, codenamed Project Bloom, is expected to launch during Take-Two's fiscal year of 2026. The full press release below goes over, just Game Freak's history and how excited they are to talk about it. They say, we're thrilled to have the opportunity to create a new IP that is bold and totally different from our prior work. From the beginning, Private Division was a publisher we wanted to work with on our new game. Their track record and global expertise gives us all the confidence to create a sweeping new action-adventure game that we can't wait to share more about in the future. So what do you think, man? I mean, this appears to... I mean, Nintendo doesn't own Game Freak. They own Pokemon, so... This reads to me like it's something brand new. And I will have to say, this image, pretty intriguing. Looks kind of cool.
Really?
I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well,
Hey,
I
at least
really have a
it'll
lot of faith in.
at least it'll run probably more than 30 or 10.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm gonna hope so, because I'm not really impressed with Game Freak, but I know all the Pokemon fanboys out there will disagree, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, best game of the year." So there's not really much I can say other than I don't really have much faith in them and whatever they create at this point. But it's gonna sell like hotcakes, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's gonna sell probably better than any other game that year because it's Pokemon. So,
I'm excited
yay.
about it. I hope it's good. All right. Speaking of things that are good, Hogwarts Legacy has finally seen its release on PS4 and Xbox One consoles, and while it's definitely a visually toned down version of the game, I'm sure you watched Digital Foundry's video on it. I
Mhm.
did too. It overall, I think it's a success.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you know,
still visually impressive,
yeah,
and
it's definitely not the same level of visuals. No one ever thought it was going to be, but I think they did it. But the real question is, and we're gonna have to wait a lot longer now to figure out if they can do it. Hogwarts Legacy has once again been delayed on Nintendo Switch. This reading straight from the tweet that they sent out. It says, we know fans are looking forward to playing on the Switch, therefore creating the best possible experience is our top priority. Thank you for your patience. Hogwarts Legacy launches on Nintendo Switch now on November 14th, 2023. And that was it. So,
I really cannot wait to see this game run on Switch. I'm so unbelievably curious to see how well it runs on the Switch.
yeah.
But yeah, great. I do think a little funny thing about some things they changed in the PS4 and Xbox One version was I think it was like some of their tables they changed from circle tables to square tables or whatever,
Well, yeah,
which
because
I think
I
is
actually, I actually looked into
absolutely
that.
hilarious.
That way, they don't have to render the actual like individual pixels to make it round. They can just make
Yeah,
it
yeah.
cornered. I will say the pop in is pretty rough on that. Have you seen where they
Oh
like they
yeah,
stare at the
I did.
ground and it
Well, and
pops
for some
in?
reason on the Xbox version, the Xbox One like version, the regular One and One S makes sense, but they seems like they didn't focus enough on the Xbox One X version, so they just kind of kept the same pop in as the One and One S, which kind of sucks because like the One X is easily the most powerful of the last gen consoles, and yet it technically is still toned down even worse than the PS4 Pro in that aspect. But resolution, it's still the highest. It's 1440p on One X, and I think it's like pretty close to 1080p on PS4 Pro, and then it's like 900p on PS4, and then probably like 800p on the Xbox One regular. I think I don't know, but I know it for sure. It's like 1440p on the One X. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, the table thing. But I mean, hey, it makes sense. It does make sense. It's just a funny thing to say.
Yeah,
Like,
there has to
yeah,
be
we turned some
compromises.
round tables to the square table. But hey, it worked. And you know what? It makes sense. It's just funny. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no, I'm
have.
happy to see people are playing it now on PS4 and Xbox One. I hope you're enjoying it because I'll tell you right now, it's fantastic. We did have a review come out where both me and Mike did play the game and talked about it. So if you want to go check it out, but yeah, I think me and Mike could easily say we recommend it no matter what you can play it on.
Yeah,
Switch,
definitely.
We don't know, but I am very curious about it.
I don't know if
So,
I'm going to recommend it when it comes out because it's definitely going to be visually different.
oh
Like it's
my
very
god,
toned
yeah.
down.
I
I have
just want to know. They turn the castle into like a big square. So like, I don't know how are they gonna make this thing run on the Switch.
gonna have 10
Dude,
minute
the
load
Steam
times.
Deck even has a hard time playing it sometimes. Like, so I want to know how a Switch is going to play this game. I'm so curious.
Well,
I
we will
can't wait.
find out maybe
Yeah.
on November. It might get delayed again.
Yeah.
I think if it does get delayed again, they'll just say, sorry, we can't do it.
Screw it. It's
Like
just
we
not
tried,
possible.
we tried our best. We're gonna have to run this thing in fucking potato mode with
Dude,
circles.
it's gonna be like The Witcher 3. It's gonna be like 360p or whatever on the Switch.
Yeah, it looks like
How
someone
do you?
rubbed Vaseline on your screen.
Yeah.
All right, let's run through this next one. I'm excited about it. It looks kind of cool. In recent months, NetherRealm Studios has been slowly teasing another installment in the Mortal Kombat series, but now we've gotten a more firm confirmation that the next game is on the horizon. On social media, the official Mortal Kombat Twitter account and MK co-creator Ed Boon shared a video of a ticking clock counting up to number 12, only for it to pause and then skip over and back to number 1. And now the rumor is hot. Everything's coming in. We're going to get the new reveal of Mortal Kombat very shortly. And from all the rumors and this teaser, it is a remake of Mortal Kombat 1. What do you think about this, man? I don't think anyone
Well,
saw this coming. I don't think anyone, had predicted they were going to go back to the original and reboot, remake original Mortal Kombat because they did it not that long ago. Mortal Kombat 9 is technically just titled Mortal Kombat, and it retells the story of actually the first 3 games in that story. So this is an interesting little twist here. I don't think anyone saw this coming. I definitely didn't. I just thought it was going to be 12. But definitely with the official video, the clock, and there's been a lot of rumors out there and people talking about it. It is now a reboot. It feels confirmed to me that it is now
mhm.
a reboot of some sort of one. The other thing is they're talking about, there's a time trial-esque feature with Mortal Kombat 11, and it technically could be 12, but they're going back to the timeline of MK1 and all that. I don't know, shit gets weird over in Mortal Kombat, but I think this is kind of cool. Even if it is a straight up reboot, a revitalization of the series, I love Mortal Kombat. It's probably my favorite fighter. I'm not very good at it, but I do like the stories a lot, and I like NetherRealm's gameplay, so it's super interesting. I'm very excited about this. Probably gonna play it. Definitely play the story. I'm not gonna go online because I'll get smashed in the face. But
Oh yeah, no.
what do you think, man? It said kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone really thought this was what this was gonna be.
Um, I don't I don't know why they would have to reboot it again. I hope to God it's not just a reboot again, but like, dude, then we're gonna have Motor Combat, and there's another Motor Combat. So which one? Hey, mom, go get me Motor Combat. Oh, got you, sweetie. Then, like, come on now. Like, you can't. I hope to God it's not just called Motor Combat because, dude, that's 3 just straight up Motor Combat games. So cool. I am very excited in a sense. Like, I'm very curious. I never played 11. Well, okay, that's a lie. I played a little bit of it against some people, but I never got to play like the story or anything. I did really like it. I just never ended up buying it for some reason. But I did like it quite a bit. So I'm excited no matter what for these. I do kind of wish Mortal Kombat would go back to the roots and kind of bring back some of those interesting modes they used to have in like the PS2 games. Like for example, then Mortal Kombat Chess, which by the way was fucking awesome. It was super cool. I absolutely loved playing that against like friends in my neighborhood or my brother, where I would have like Scorpion as one of the pawns, and it was just so cool. Like it was unique. It was fun. I kind of wish Mortal Kombat would come back to that. I feel like in like the past whatever, I don't know how many games, they've really lacked that change. I feel like they haven't really done anything to evolve Mortal Kombat as much as I would hope they would.
You remember
They need
that
to probably maybe
weird
pull some
era?
things.
You
Go on.
remember that weird era back in the PS2 with like Deadly Alliance, Deception, I think Shaolin Monks, where it was like essentially like an action
Yeah,
RPG.
yeah.
That was. I don't know why that came in my head.
It was
Well,
kind of
I guess
fun
I'm
though.
talking about Mortal
I
Kombat.
actually
That's
really
why.
liked
But
that game, the Shaolin Monks one, where you played as um
Luke
damn.
Cage. No, not Luke Cage. Leon
No, it
Yu.
was
Leon Key. Liu
Yeah,
Kang. Liu Kang. There
Liu
we
Kang,
go.
and then the one guy with the spinning
Yeah, the actual monk. I don't
hat.
remember his name.
Yeah, it's like they're both like really good friends. I know they like, but that was a fun game. Again, I just want to see more of that. Like, if you're gonna go back and reboot again, I guess cool, whatever. At this point, a lot of games are just called like we have God of War and God of War. We have
Kung
a
Lao.
lot of things that yeah. So it happens.
Kung
But
Lao, by the way.
Kung Lao. Okay.
I looked him
But
up.
I just want them to really evolve the game. I feel like that's my biggest problem with Mortal Kombat is I miss some of the old things they used to do where they did some very unique and exciting things, and I feel like all they've literally done in the past 4 games is the exact same thing over and over again. Normal fighting, the chain thing where you fight a bunch of enemies till you get to the top. I already forgot what's called. It's like King of the Hill or whatever. And then just that's it. And then maybe they have like the chopping block thing. That's it. That's like the 3 things they have in every single game, and then the story. But it's like, I don't know, just put more in there. Like, I don't know, just maybe go with Street Fighter on this. Street Fighter is doing something really unique
Dude,
and
I'm
exciting.
so excited for Street Fighter 6. I actually downloaded the demo. I have no clue why I'm so excited for Street Fighter 6 because I suck at fighting games. But the whole idea of it, I'm like, this is something brand new that no one's ever seen before.
And honestly, that's I do kind of agree with you. It does look very exciting because of the things that they're doing with it. And that's where I think Mortal Kombat really needs to learn. They need to evolve and change. And I feel like they were changing a little bit in PS2 generation, and then now they've just gotten so comfy with their games that all they do is the exact same thing over and over and over again. I want you to evolve the game and add more to it. It doesn't have to be chess again, but that was just like something I've never forgotten. Like, I actually really liked it. It was different, it was exciting, and it was fun. And I hope they will do something like that with this game.
Give me a Mortal Kombat RPG.
Dude, that'd be sick. By the way, there's this game called Wrestling RPG that's coming out.
Yeah, I saw it.
The whole point of the game is that's unique. That's cool.
It's turn-based too.
Mortal Kombat, learn from this. Wait a minute. Imagine a JRPG that is Mortal Kombat.
No, turn-based Mortal Kombat.
But when you get in fights, like you have to do a certain move, you get into the fighting stage and you do the normal fighting. But maybe you'll get like some bonuses or something like that. I don't know. It's a dumb idea, but again, that's evolving. That's doing something unique, something different. And I want Mortal Kombat to do something like that. They need to get on Street Fighter's level because right now I do agree. I think Street Fighter is doing the most interesting thing with its, other than Smash. Smash is still up there, but it's still like doing the most interesting thing.
PlayStation All-Stars.
That style of. I've never played that game. I always wanted to.
It's essentially
weird, yeah.
Smash with PlayStation characters. That's all.
Yeah,
it is.
But still, like,
It's
do
fun.
something like that. You know, what if they made a Mortal Kombat Smash mode where you can get little things, you get like a little arena, and then you can still do like your fatalities and all that, but it's like in a Smash Ultimate kind of arenas. I wouldn't be mad. It could be cool.
What if Mario's in the next Mortal Kombat?
Ooh.
You just have a fatality, you just rip Mario's spine out. That's hype. I want to see that. I want to see Chris Pratt's Mario with his fucking voice. And it's like, oh no.
Or they could do Mortal Kombat versus freaking Marvel or something. Like, I miss when they did the Mortal Kombat versus DC. I know Mortal Kombat DC wasn't
Capcom
fantastic,
has the
but it was
Marvel
unique.
thing.
That's fair. But it would be unique. Again, I just want you to do something like that. Add some more unique things to it. Because I actually did like Mortal Kombat versus DC because I just thought it was cool. Because you could play as like Batman and all that, and you could fight Scorpion and that. That was fucking cool. So like, do stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see.
A final story, a quick rundown. The PlayStation.
Whoa.
There was a cackle in my house. What
that
the hell?
Was scary. Is there a witch? A witch.
There is a witch. Just with a B. I'm just kidding. Love you, baby. All right, so the PlayStation Plus extra and premium games have been announced for May 2023, and I'll run through them like we do every single time the games have been announced. So for those of you on the extra tier, you get Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on PS5, Watch Dogs Legion, Humanity, the day one launch on PS4 and 5 and VR2, Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, this Sakura of Rice and Ruin. Actually, I heard that's really good. I have no clue what it is. But Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Rise of Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Bus Simulator 21, which there's no way there's 21 of those games. Even with
2021. It's 2021,
Oh,
not 21. It's not 21.
I'm an idiot.
No, it's 2021 Bus Simulator. Not.
Ugh,
It's the 21st Bus
that's what I
Simulator.
thought. I'm a dumbass,
I love
but
they put a title thing after it. Next stop, like.
the Evil Within 2, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Thymesia, Rain World, Lake, Conan Exiles, Rune Factory 5, Story of Seasons, Friend of Mineral Town, and Soundfall. And then,
Whoa, Soundfall. It must be like Redfall.
and hopefully not.
No,
And then
please don't.
those are up on the MWIII Classic Edition. Those of us on the premium tier get another Siphon Filter game in Logan Shadow, Blade Dancer, Lineage of Light, Pursuit Force, and the remastered Ghostbusters, the video game from, I think, like 2010. So another Siphon Filter game. Man, they really love inundating us with Siphon
No,
Filter
that was in
games.
2010. No, I think that was
The Ghostbusters game?
2017, I believe, or 2018 that got released. I think it was 2018. It was either 2018 or 2019. The Ghostbusters remaster came out.
Oh, no. Okay, so the remaster may came out. The original game came out in 2009. I was
Well,
confused.
yeah, but the rematch,
Sorry,
yeah.
my
'Cause
bad.
I was like, I got
confused.
my dad that game, which I actually really wanted to play that game, but
It's
I
an
haven't
easy
gotten it.
platinum.
But I got it for him on his Switch, and then he said it was too hard. So I
It's
never really.
yeah, it's an easy platinum. But anyway, so these games, more proof that extra tier is where it's at. Absolutely fantastic fire on extra tier. Don't get premium tier. I'm actually thinking about ticking down. I don't really need the premium tier, even though it is nice to have some of the demos and trials and all that, but I don't think it's that worth it. So, but extra tier is where it's at. I think it's a fantastic month. I mean, just Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is worthy of, your monthly subscription of $10 right there. So,
Yeah, if you never played that game, play it, guys.
yeah, and then you get,
Freaking great.
Dishonored 2, Death of the Outsider, all the Tomb Raider games, which I have them on like 8 different consoles at this point. I have them on Steam and Epic Game Store. Why? I don't know. So, but yeah, another decent month with definitely
Epic
Bus
Game Store.
Simulator 21 coming in hot. The sequel to Bus Simulator 20. Your main character dies at the end.
Yeah, the
Gets
last stop.
gets run
Like,
gets run over by the
Simulator
bus.
22 is the last stop.
Yeah, gets run
Oh
over
my
by the bus.
God.
Well,
Yeah.
you get to like the end of the route and everything, and then your bus driver just like jumps off
And
a cliff
then
or
they
something.
have Bus Simulator 23, and it says Bus Simulator 23 Ragnarok.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did anyone else just get chills? I did.
Yeah.
Some narrative driven
Uh,
stuff.
and it got changed to a third person. That'd be,
What do you think
God.
about that list, man?
Honestly, pretty good. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is a very good one to get. A lot of their games have been out for a while, but if you haven't played any of them, obviously go play. They have Dishonored, good arcane games, not Redfall. They have why can't my
But actually, Death of the Outsider was developed by Arcane Austin, so that is actually the Redfall developer.
yeah. So there you go.
The good
And that's
Arcane
way
Austin
better.
game.
Yeah, good arcane. Yeah. And then we have all the Tomb Raiders, which I think is great. If you haven't played any of those, you definitely should go play them. I think at least the first one I really like. I kind of like. I thought Rise of Skywalker. Or, oh my God, I almost said Rise of Skywalker. Rise of the Tomb Raider was pretty good. It wasn't as good. Never beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I can't really say if it's bad because I just never beat it. So I don't really know.
I played it
was
last year.
Okay, from what I
Never,
played.
never beat again. It was really good. Very good story. I do have to agree. I was let down a little bit with Rise, but I love the first Tomb Raider. I absolutely love
Yeah,
the first
first Tomb
Tomb.
Raider was
Yeah.
awesome. Evil Within 2, awesome. That's a really good one.
Shinji Mikami game. Man just made Resident Evil.
Other than that, I mean, also, I liked Watch Dogs Legion. I know it's not a good game, but I liked it. I know you don't like it, but I did like it, but I understand why it wasn't great. But it also makes me kind of sad because that game kind of lost its support a little too early. And also, it
Ubisoft will
probably
do
will
that
be
to
the
you.
last Watch Dogs. Yeah, and it's probably also the last Watch Dogs game, which kind of frustrates me because
They just never sold, man.
because Watch Dogs Legion was such a unique idea and it was really cool, but then I don't feel like they got enough time to really make it a full thing, and that's where it fell down. Because I like the permadeath mode. Anyways, they took that off. Like they turned it off because a lot of people were bothered by it. By the way, that's the best way to play Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, that's the only
Put
way.
permadeath on because it is a lot more fun because you actually have to care about the people that you put in your thing and you can actually get them killed. And well, permadeath means they're gone forever. And I like that. Also, just to let people know, if you do buy characters, like for example, Aiden Pierce and all that, if they die too in permadeath. So they do not come back. So I just want to let you know that because I learned that the hard way. And I also learned that they promised New Game Plus and then they never came out with it. So thank you, Ubisoft. Fuck you.
Oh,
Um,
Star Wars Jedi Survivor, New Game Plus at launch. Immediately do it. Props to that, I guess.
already way better than you, Ubisoft.
Better than
But
God
yeah,
of
that
War.
is great. I actually really, I think more games should add that. Like, I also think I wish that was one thing that I really wish Breath of Wild would have had was a New Game Plus. I thought that would have been really cool,
And what's
but they
cool,
didn't.
that's the only way to get a red lightsaber. Once you start New Game Plus, you get access
Really?
to the red lightsaber, yeah.
See, that's cool. I like that stuff. And then
And
it would just be
also,
fun because then you can level up probably your whatever your skill tree to the max. I'm
yeah,
gonna
it
assume.
carries over, yeah.
Yeah.
And also there's a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
cool.
there's a cool feature you can turn on I think they call it like enemy remix or something. So they
hmm
completely change all the enemies with like high level enemies throughout the entire game in New Game Plus. There's a lot of cool stuff actually with New Game Plus.
That's actually really cool. You
Yeah.
know, that's one thing I I really wish more games would do. Like for example, Resident Evil 4 2 would be in your next replay, you could have like a mode where it not only like it remixes the enemies in the sense that they will be random. Wouldn't that be fucking cool? So like you get to the village section and you get a regenerator that pops up in the village. That would be cool. I kind of like that idea. Like it'd be a fun little way of replaying the game, but it remixes and changes the enemies at certain times of the game. I think that would be kind of cool. Or even more funny, you could add the bosses and while you're at it too. Just put the bosses in like the village or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
I think
there's
that would be a cool little
yeah.
idea.
There's
I
all
do like that though that they are changing it to like higher end enemies in your second playthrough if you want to. I like that. That's cool, and it changes your second playthrough and it makes things more interesting.
yeah, and that you also get a new perk the moment you start New Game Plus to make all the enemies like harder too, and you get a little negative. It's
That's
pretty good.
cool.
Yeah, I gotta admit, it's pretty.
That's
It's a pretty cool little mode. All right. Let's go down to LTR. We're not gonna spend too much time here because we're already a little long, and I am tired and
yeah,
hungry. So,
that
um,
is fair.
yeah. Mostly because this game is one of the best games. Actually, right now it is the best game ever made in terms of review scores. So anyway, LTR is a section where we dive into some of the games, and we usually go very heavy into what you reviewers are saying out there. But I'm just gonna run through pretty much how the games can be scored because, like I said, it is right now the best game ever made. So anyway, our deep dive this week is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, which has a 97 on OpenCritic, a 96 on Metacritic, with 86 positive and 86 positive, 1 mixed, and 0 negative. And don't worry, I'm going to read you that 1
I know.
mixed.
I can't wait to hear this
So
bullshit.
I do want to point out Game Informer gave the game a 9.8, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, no, I actually watched. So before I even watched a review, I literally see down the comment section below. They're like, "Then why not just make it a 10?" Like what?
I'm
Like
okay, and
that?
I
What
understand,
got that
like,
point two? That point two?
I understand, like, a 9.5. I get that. Like, it's just not
Yeah,
quite amazing or anything, but a 9.8. And I read
really.
through it, and the only thing is, what did he say? He says, okay, I didn't get the same goosebumps exploring Hyrule as I did in the past, but I did experience new emotions, both on a granular level from yada yada yada. So he didn't get the same feeling, so he dropped it
Point
zero point
two.
0.2
Point two.
points. Anyway, the one mixed review, someplace called Gfinity, don't know what the hell that is, don't
Yeah.
care, gave the game a 6 out of 10 and said, if you've yet to step foot into the open world of Hyrule, Tears of the Kingdom is the best way to experience it, with just enough new ground to keep things interesting. But if you didn't get with the 2017 release, the story alone might not be worth the second attempt. I hate to say this, but if you didn't like Breath of the Wild, why do you even care about Tears of the Kingdom?
The story alone might not be worth the second
Because
attempt.
I guess all the gameplay changes and all the new worlds, both above and below the main world, isn't a big enough change. I don't understand
I
people,
still
dude.
just don't even understand how you could say it's a 6 out of 10. Well, what? Yeah, I mean, clearly this is probably one of those people out there that didn't like the original, and they're like, well, you have to review it. And so they were given a copy, and they're like, I still don't like it. What? What? Holy crap! He didn't like it. He didn't like it. It's almost like, uh... hey, Mike, I really did like God of War. Oh, Logan, I'm gonna make you play Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you be
I
the
didn't
lead
still
reviewer on
like it.
Ragnarok.
I still don't like it.
That's like sitting down and Logan saying, "Hey, Mike, you're gonna review, I don't know, fuck NHL 24 for us." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool," because I'm really gonna give this game a great review. Like, that's not something I play. It's not something I like. So,
And you had to feel really dumb when you were literally the only person.
oh
The
yeah,
only person. 86 positive, one mixed.
I think the next score is like an 8 out of 10. I think so.
Oh,
Like,
I don't know. We might be getting Jim Sterling or whatever his name.
don't fucking get me started, dude.
He's probably gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
Oh, by the way, I did confirm that outside. It is her. So we
Oh,
did get
sorry,
that.
her.
We did get that
Yes.
wrong. But
Okay.
hold on.
I
Yeah,
I
hold
was
on.
about to say I seen a video by her not long ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess it's a her now.
All right, I'm scrolling down. By the way, I had to scroll a while to get past the tens. Scrolling. Yeah, so Eurogamer and T3 gave it an 8, and then Gfinity a 6. I don't understand video games. Oh, so I don't understand video game reviewers. Like,
Yeah.
we try to be very fair here. We are only going to review the games that we are excited for and we know a lot about. Like, I'm not going to give you guys a review of the next Madden. I mean, I know a lot about football. I could probably give a good review on that, but that's not a game that I care to review, and that's not a game that I really want people to come to us for our opinions on. I want people to come to us for the opinions because they know the type of games we play. They know the type of games that we know inside and out, which is like we talked about. Like, we know games very akin to something like Redfall, which is why I think our opinion is valid on why it's not a good game, because we love that type of game and we know what a good game in that genre is. You know, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
review. I'm not gonna review Mortal Kombat because while I like it, I'm not a fighting gamer. I can't give a good, knowledgeable review on what's good and what's bad in it. I can just tell you, like, yeah, the story was cool, but that's not a legit review from me. So I don't know, dude.
it's like you giving me the next Death Stranding and me playing it and giving it a review. What do you expect I'm gonna say about it?
Oh, you better say it's a
Not
9 out of 10. So,
well, that's the thing. I probably won't.
well, you're
And
wrong.
that's literally well, that is fair,
You're not wrong.
but I probably still will not give it a good review. And that's just the thing. Like that's why I don't understand this review, because it's clearly just someone that didn't like Breath of the Wild that got this knowing it was a sequel and being like, still don't like it. It's like, wow, it's almost like it's a sequel to a game that you didn't like. Wow, what a surprise. You didn't like it.
All right, the rest of the week went like this. Darkest Dungeon 2 on PC got an 82. Death or Treat, a game that Logan was excited for at least a little bit, got a 59.
Not doing too good. Not doing too good. That's
Then
not what I was hoping for.
Ease 9 on PS5 got an 80.
Why Zix?
Wise IX, yes, as Logan would say.
Monstrum Nux.
All right, out this week, this is where we go through the games that you could be playing in this coming week. And the good news is, guys, you got plenty of time to play Zelda. So
Oh.
on May 16th, Humanity on PS5, 4, PSVR 2, and PC. On May 17th, Starship Troopers Extermination on PC. On May 18th, Firmament on PC and Mac. It's a Mac game. That hasn't been something for a while. The Outlast Trials comes out on PC finally. And then on May 19th, Lego 2K Drive comes out on something that I forgot to write down, so I don't know what it comes out on. But what is the face you are currently making?
Dude.
Oh, I am, dude. That is the thumbnail right there. That face you just made is a thumbnail. Don't give me the
Dude.
weaponry if you don't want me to use it.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know Starship Troopers was coming out this week. This game looks great to me. I am very excited for it. Dude,
Should have put it on a
have
fantasy
you
list.
watched Starship Troopers, right?
I fucking love Starship Troopers. Well, the first one.
Okay.
The sequels aren't very good.
Well, this is like, I don't know really how to describe it other than it's like you obviously play as a soldier. It's a first person game, but you're like fighting hordes of them, but like I don't know, dude. It just looks awesome. It looks like literally like I don't. I guess you. I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna try to read this. Okay, Starship Troopers Extermination is a co-op FPS that puts you on the far off front lines in an all-out battle against the bugs. Squad up, grab your rifle, and do your part. Oh, and it looks like you build your base. This looks great. I didn't know it was coming out this soon.
I'm
That's
looking at
why
it.
I'm pumped for it. It's only on PC. It's an early access game. I'm very curious about this game. Obviously, I probably won't be playing it day one or anything, but this is a game I really want. It actually looks really good. I'm pretty damn excited because I
Okay.
actually really like Starship Troopers. I only watched the first one, but I really like Starship Troopers 1. I absolutely love that movie. I especially love the action. It's so freaking cool. And this is just that in a game, and you can play with a bunch of friends, and you can build your bases and fight against the bugs. I don't really know exactly how it works. I need to watch some videos on it, but wow, I can't believe it's coming out.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
why I was so blown away.
if
I'm
it's
actually really
free to play,
excited.
we might jump in. I don't know if it's free
Is
to
it
play
free
or
to
not.
play?
I said if it is. There's no.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm on the Steam page, and it just allows me to add to my wish list. So I don't know.
Yeah, planned release date. This game plans to unlock in approximately 3 days. Okay. Okay, well, that's cool. That's why I was blown away. I really just didn't expect the game to come out
Well, that's good because I
like
had no clue why
this
you were
soon.
excited for it. I was like, what?
Dude, I'm really pumped for that game. I don't know why. Again, it's just like the dumb thing with Exo Primal. I don't know. I like shooters, and
What the fuck was
this
that?
I
Horde
don't know. Horde
shooters.
shooters,
Oh my god.
horde shooters. And this looks like up my alley, and I love Starship Troopers. And I did see this game a while back, and again, I didn't know it was coming out like this week. So that's cool. Obviously, won't be able to play it because I'm a little bit busy, but I will be playing it sometime down the line. Hopefully, depending on what price it is and if it's even good at release. So who knows?
All right, let's get on out of here, man. I'm tired
Yeah,
and
yeah,
hungry.
yeah, yeah.
This
So
brings us to the end
yeah,
of our show, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone who has been watching and listening, we just want to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here. But please help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that we have the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We would greatly appreciate it. Mr. Birdman, any last words?
thank you guys for stopping by the XP podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a lot going on this week, but a lot of exciting and good news. Honestly, just a lot of good news going around. I mean, there was some negatives, especially towards the beginning with the whole Xbox situation, but I would say overall, a lot of positive news this week. A lot of very exciting things like Mike beating Jedi Survivor, me starting the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and also hearing that supposedly Guardians of the Galaxy is almost or possibly better than No Way Home, which is a big feat in my opinion. Yeah, I hope you guys I can't say happy you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if you enjoyed it, but I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I hope you guys give us maybe a like and a subscribe. Maybe give us a comment down below if maybe we missed something, or maybe you have some insight on something that we might have not talked about. Also, we would also like you guys, if you guys have any questions for us, to comment down below and give us a question of the week. It could be literally about anything. Maybe not books, because I don't know much about a lot of books, but maybe something within, like video games or movies for me. But other than that, I think that's really all I got for you. So Mike, I'll bring it to you.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by all of us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week, and don't forget to go inside of Princess Zelda and watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We'll talk to you on the next one. See you guys.
Woo.